Check 1 2. Let me check audio. Like I need to. I'm gonna have to do this for a while until I get me like a setup that I never have to ever move when I'm done. Then I'm gonna have to always check it because audio is important. Check 2. Let me check. I don't know why it's making a buzzing noise. I think it's picking up like interference when my when it's touching the metal tripod. There's so many damn quirks to electronics. I think it's picking up like okay interference when it's touching the metal tripod. There's so many damn yeah, that's what it was. Quirks to electronics. Buzzing noise eliminated. What's happening, folks? What's up, CR the Great? What's happening with your boss, man? I'm just not getting on. We're gonna go in it though. We're gonna go into it. And hmm. Let me just check over here on my TikTok side. Yeah, everything's looking good on the TikTok side right now. Let me open up my yeah. Let me open up my chat for the YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, folks. TikTok, I guess I'll leave it like that to where y'all can see the chat on the side. That's kind of cool. Let me see if I can resize it a little bit though. That's kind of cool, but I want y'all to be able to get the info more than the chat. But they be chat, they we'll do that. I'll see how I like it. You won't be able to read the whole chat though. See, it's just too it's not wide enough. Like if I do it like that, that's not bad. But I'll be afraid that if I put up books and things that you're gonna have to read, that you may not be able to read it correctly or see it as easily. Let me throw some up. Let me just see how I feel like how it looks. Uh, Gotta plug you in. Hold up, and I gotta add you. Hold up, because then I can just be looking at my. I was about to say I could just be looking at my TikTok live screen, but it just kind of depends. What's up, Golden? Copper Asar said this is a fire setup. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate y'all coming in. We're really gonna get into it today. We're gonna get into some game. We're gonna get into some complaints. Uh I hear a buzzing noise. Let me just make sure that buzzing ain't coming through. Copper Asar said this is a fire setup. Appreciate that. No, we good. We good. We good. Okay. What up, Hitch? Okay, yeah, let me add me I'm like, what am I doing? Okay, let me add a source here real quick. Extra cam, USB. There we go. Turn you on. Now let's see how it looks when I add in and swap out for the book. How it comes through on here if I blow it up. Yeah, y'all can still see it. Y'all can still see it, and you'll be able to see if anybody chats on the right hand side. It's not too bad. Yeah, I guess I what up, man? Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at it as we get people in, like thinking, do I want it like that? Because I really want y'all to get the game to see everything large. Let me just go to the large. I think, and to be honest, right now I may not do it, but in the future I might. Like right now, I do get people that chat in to. Let me go back here. People that chat into my YouTube and Twitter and stuff, but it's not as much, nowhere near as much as who chats into my my TikTok. That's why I'm so I'm so interactive with my TikTok fam more so than they are. I am with them, but that's just because I know I'm more than likely gonna get some messages from y'all, some live messages that I can actually go in. Okay, there we go. So we'll just do it like that, so that way y'all can really see. And the algorithm is starting to go on both ends. People are starting to flow in. This ain't what we're talking about, but we are gonna talk about this. You're not gonna hear it. I'm gonna bring it up on another screen. But what is that? That's this is last the night before last when I woke up, I saw and it was just the universe because I don't always catch this. I know this looks really weird, especially when I'm standing up like that and doing that. Really looks weird. But uh I had woke up, you know what I'm saying? And I was went to my TikTok and he was on live. Tariq was live. So I was like, okay. Listen for I barely listen for 10 minutes. I can't really listen that long. It's the same stuff, but like let me make sure my volume isn't coming in. Check 1 2. Is it coming in too hot? I'm gonna go down a little bit on it. Last time it was coming in kind of hot. Hold on. Let me just double check my volume one last time. Yeah, it's kind of hot. It's kind of hot. It's kind of hot. Hold up. Let me go down on that. I think last time I noticed it was kind of hot. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay, I think. Let's see. Hold on. One more second, y'all. We're gonna get it going. I'm gonna get this African out your ear face. Looking like okay. All right. I think we might be good. I just want to check to make sure it ain't too low. I think I'm gonna. It's like I'm gonna have to adjust it over there. But okay. All right. We about to get into it. Let me do that. All right. So I caught Tariq's live stream on TikTok, and literally this dude was up, whatever, just kind of prefacing it before I go and play the audio and play the whole thing. But um, the dude, it happened quickly. To be honest, for some reason, I felt like I was gonna find something, and I started screen recording, which is odd because I typically don't. I was like, you know what? Let me screen record. I think he might say something crazy. I don't know, whatever. Something was in my head. And then I stopped screen recording within like 5 minutes. I was like, man, I ain't finna waste my time. And then I kept listening for like another 5 minutes. And then that's when I heard this. And he says that blue jeans the denim from Indigo comes from black FBA. Now, if he would have just left it there, I'd have been okay with that. Not okay. I still wouldn't have been okay. No, no, because now you're still taking our talking points and you're trying to use them for your own gain. But it got worse because he said it came from FBAs from slavery. Now you're moving timelines and pushing erasure, propaganda, and lies all within a phrase. Okay, and pissing me off on top of all of that because I've seen a lot of the people here do a lot of hard work looking for these books that people ain't been digging up for ages, and if they have, they ain't been telling the truth about them. And then those ones that have been telling the truth about them, and now here we are. We got people trying to take the story and twist it to something African, and I've been seeing this with multiple different things. We're gonna see today. We're gonna not talk only talk about this. Well, we're gonna go into the whole Geechee thing and how they try to sit here and I hope that's not playing to where y'all can. No, y'all shouldn't be able to hear that. No, no, no. Um, What's up, Karma Jockey? Said this is the most high quality presentation I've seen so far. Big thanks. Appreciate that. I'm trying to do a little bit better for the 2026s. So but yeah, so we're also going to touch on how recently I realized how I found rice was already in America, as in some old books as we go into it, and we'll find some rice already in America in some videos that they talk about, but they want to contribute it to something African every time. So they're trying to take everything we do and do something African with it. So yeah. So here we go, man. You said, Daniel, he said pretending. What do you mean by he said pretending? Because both of y'all said that indigo came from slavery. Both you and Tariq said indigo came from slavery. He said, I think he was insulting you, bro. Who's insulting me? Oh, old boy saying I'm a pretendian, but said I'm talking about the guy in the comments. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, don't be mad at me because I kind of got you on trial right now. Ain't gonna lie. I will say you were just following after Tariq, kind of just parroting. But feel free to listen along because yeah, what we're not gonna do is take now you just gotta parrot in Tariq to a degree, but obviously so. But as far as on this point, I'm not just talking about you all the time, but I'm talking about on this indigo talking point. I know that, and the reason why I'm going to say this because I wish I would have had recorded when Tariq used the Alabama reclassification talking point, because I know that personally I was one of the folks that was looking at the reclassification of Alabamians from the census record, and most people was not even looking and even digging. Most people didn't even know this record existed until about a little over so a year ago, before I started putting it out there. Now, most people, that's what they told me, at least in the game. So when I went through and I started finding certain anomalies, like bulges of people in certain areas, I started figuring out, oh, wait a minute, they're reclassifying people, counting them as they go into these areas. And then I started noticing it was in every Western state that came after 1808, Louisiana Purchase, 1803. And then on top of that, I started realizing there's no depletion in anywhere else after 1808 to make up for the big 1 million that gets over to here. Then I also, after a while, and this was like research over some months and several revelations. Then I figured out, oh, in 1830, what happened between 1830 and 1840? The Dancing Rabbit Treaty. What option or what article in the Dancing Rabbit Treaty allowed you to be able to become a citizen of the United States if you kept your land? Article 14, the one that the Shatas have gotten now federal or state recognition utilizing said article. So I knew that it took me a lot of research to figure this out. And then when I heard Tariq kind of just threw the talking point out there, like, oh yeah, reclassification, African, no, not Africans, from Indians was reclassified Alabama. I'm like, wait a minute. Where did that come from? What census record did you see, and where did you find the census record? And last time I checked, they took the census record down. It took a whole lot of. I used to be able to just Google slave population census. And my bad, I'm gonna look over and see what y'all saying. Slave population census, and it would come up number one every single time. And then for almost 6-7 months, it would come up every time. And then I was doing heavy videos, live streams, debunking people's talking points with this doc. It's only so many talking points you could debunk with this doc. Like the slave breeding narrative, the graping narrative, all that can be debunked with this one dot. The ethnogenesis narrative, debunked with this dot. And so eventually that dot got taken down or very much hidden in the back servers on another link on census.gov. Eventually I had somebody find it for me, and I saved it. But I'm saying all that to say that I don't know how he got the talking point, other than the fact that it's gotten disseminated over time, because OHS been using this, all kind of people have been using this document since then, and that's perfectly fine. That's what I want. I want everybody to use the information that I put out truthfully. If you're gonna use it, Truthfully tell the information. If you're gonna debunk it with another document, with another whatever it is. But if you're gonna use it and lie, like OHF used to walk around with this and be like, "Oh, see down here where it says these people were mixed or unmixed African descent." I was like, "Well, how come you didn't go down here where it talked about just a page down where it talks about Africans coming in here?" Yeah, but it also talks about how people were being imported from the British West Indies. I can't mark on it. Hold on, let me see if I can mark on it. From the British West Indies. Whoops. Let me do that right there. Yeah, from the British West Indies. And how they say, the slavery, the trade of Negro slaves was too small before 1753 to attract attention. How come we're not going to talk about that? How come we're not going to talk about how the importation numbers between 1715 and 1808 before the slavery was banned? How come we're not going to talk about how these are all whole numbers? That means didn't nobody count a goddamn soul. They just making up whatever number they want to make up in their head, whereas all of these numbers are not whole numbers. I do like this little markup shit. That little markup shit go hard. So all I'm saying is people are taking talking points and they're doing zero research, and then on top of that they're Africanizing it. So let's get into how it's been Africanized. Let me get off of here and let me see what y'all been saying. You said Tariq from Alabama. Yeah, and that's why they need to listen to me on what happened in Alabama, and I can go even deeper on the numbers in Alabama. He said I said you were a high quality person. Oh yeah, he said you said I seen that. Shame the education isn't. Let me guess, the indigo denim is aboriginal to America because indigo means Indian. No, so whoever just said that, so you are talking shit, not Daniel, but the other dude, Cam or whatever. No, it's this book right here. You see this book right here? The Encyclopedia of American Indian Contributions to the World. Encyclopedia of Contributions to the World. Over what did it say? Over 15,000 years worth of contributions. And what does it say one of them is? Indigo. Okay, playing with me. And not only that, if you was to Google it, I think I had it already Googled. Thought I had it already Googled, but let me Google it if not. Was indigo made in the Americas? I should have meant indigo denim, my bad. Yes, indigo is extremely high product produced in the Americas, specifically legal quality, blah, 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 blah. From that particular plant in Severus since the 18th century, but actually it was said before that because there's one where it says it's 6,000 years. Let me say denim. American Indians created denim dye. Ancient use for 6,000 years in Peru. Okay, so we got indigo plants in Peru, proven use for over 6,000 years. And y'all, well, not y'all, well, yeah, you, Mr. Camel, as well as Tariq, I'm going to ease back on Daniel, want to contribute that shit to about 300-400 years ago. Not just y'all. Don't get me wrong. Tariq could have saw the wrong information, as what we're going to go into and what we're going to find. I don't want to even say that because even if I was to say it's the wrong information, it's still up to you to, you know what? I got to send these videos. I was like, where are the videos at? I got to send them over from my phone. Hold on 1 second. It's still up for you to find the right information and to understand when you are being duped and when you're not, when you're being given white talking points from white folks purposely for propagandistic purposes, as well as hold on, let me make sure that's the right one. Yeah. And when you see this really gonna fuck y'all up. For those who haven't seen the actual video, let me send this to the iPad, or actually, no, let me send this to my MacBook Pro. So for the first things first, let's just get this out the way. It's the Indians that from the Encyclopedia book of the world that created indigo. Now let's just get into this as I look this up. Now indigo, that's the name of the plant. The American circum, well, no, that's the Caribbean. No, this is what it is. I'm sorry, North America, Southeast, Southwest, South America, circum-Caribbean, whatever culture. It says the name indigo is given to a number of shrubs of the genus Indigofera. It says a member of the pea family. A brilliant blue dye can be produced from these plants, different varieties of indigo. It says that plants grow in warm climates throughout the world, including the West Indies and the deserts of Southwest and North America. The American species indigo is called Indigofera sulphicora cosa or whatever. I really like the end that says Cosa, but that's a whole nother thing. Like the Coosa River, like Alabama, means strong and black. That's no whole nother thing. Independently of dyers in other parts of the world, American Indians discovered how to remove colorless glucose, indican, from the leaves, and it's called an indican. And so they take indigo and you remove the glucose, which is called indican, which is almost like Indian. But okay. And they say we are the indigo people, indican, it comes. Okay. But okay, indican, okay, 6,000 years ago. All right. From the leaves of the plants and separated into a sugar and a yellow substance called indoxyl. First, they soak the plant in water and let it ferment for 10 to 15 hours with a yellow liquid which has formed, and then they stir and aerate it until it becomes oxidized and becomes a bright blue. Now, not only do I have proof right here of this being an Indian thing, let's take a look at some Indians with blue being depicted. Because where'd they get the blue? Well, it must be that indigo that's been around 6,000 years. Let's take a look. Before, because this all happened well before slavery. Okay, so let's just take a look at some. We'll look at the Chippewas. Where did she get the blue to put the blue stripes on that blanket? The Chippewa Indians. Where do you think she got the blue? Hold on, let me go down, y'all. I ain't even been my chat ain't even been catching up. What up, I am my ancestors? What up, Enola? Let me just say my what ups to the folks, man. What call me Gabby? What's happening? Everybody, Alicia Faye, what's happening? Appreciate the gifts. CR the Great, appreciate the gifts. Sorry, y'all, I hadn't even seen the gifts. Oh, I can scroll up through the gifts. That's easy. That way I can go through there. Appreciate the gifts, y'all. Appreciate the gifts. Solar B, Daniel, Wild Indian Grove, Epiphany, DBG, Fountain, Crew Cut. Appreciate you all, y'all. Appreciate all of y'all and everybody. What's happening? What up, Chief EJ Smoker? That's my dog. And so yeah, man. I gotta say that. So where'd the blue come from? Right? That's the where the blue. Where the blue come from for that? For the Chippewas? Where they get the blue? Right? Where they get the blue for these stripes? Okay, and that's one depiction of some Indians with the blue. This was a vase done. Now they depicted the Indians via this vase from Virginia from the 1700s. As you can see, nigga smoking that pipe with his hella patriotic motherfucking feathers, which they have blue. Now, do you think they plucked blue feathers or did they dye blue feathers? We'll have to figure that out. I don't know, but there's some blue there, right? Let's see who else we got up in here with the blue depicted. Let's see who else we got depicted with the blue. Let's just go through some of these. They got a little blue, but it's mostly in the feathers and on the turban. The one that's over here, he doesn't really have that, but they got the pearls. We ain't even gonna get into the pearls, hoop, earrings, and everything. Right there, that's gonna be one. Now, where'd they get the blue for that blanket? For that nice, really nice blanket they got there. I don't know where they got the blue for that. To get them stripes like that in that blanket. In fact, that's more like a toga, like a Roman-like toga. And a lot of these people are depicted in the allegory of the continents like this, right? In Germany, all of these are coming from Germany, and churches like this. This is a picture of a church in Germany, and as you can see, that's like the chest, or whatever you want to call it is that it sits on, or whatever. And when you zoom in, that is your American that they depicted. Now, he ain't got on blue. I just wanted to give you an idea on where I'm getting these photographs. And these things were first in a book which we used to give our, that Thank God to the people in the Indian community, American Indian community, for finding these books. And then they have now recently digitized said book in recent times. That means, in fact, let me show folks, and then we're going to get to this thing. My bad, I'm going all over the place. We're about to get to these receipts on this denim and how they Africanize it. Let me find my little link. After you build up a lot of links, takes you a minute to find certain links. There we go. So this is the website that has now been, the entire book was digitized. So when I go into, got to accept the little whatevers. When I go into them, like there's one that I was showing y'all, and but I'm gonna go to one that's easy that I know. Okay, so here, right now, it tells you where the place is. It shows you where these places are. It's in this church. It's in almost every one of their churches. Almost every church in Germany has an allegory of the continents, photograph, painting, with at least a black Indian on every single one of them. And it's called America right here, as you can see. And now I'm gonna show you where they link to it. Now let me go to the one that you have to click on this one to with the number on it to actually get the clickable dots. Now you'll see the clickable dots. Now as I go into this clickable dot, and he has on a blue turban. Where'd he get that blue from? It says America. I wish I could zoom in. Why won't it let me zoom in? Hold up, I can. I gotta do it this way. Yeah, where'd he get the blue for that turban? But America, as you see, when you click on the clickable dot, now you got to think about the gravity of that. You mean in 2024-25, YT Germans went around, took photographs of every one of these fucking paintings in churches and told the truth? And actually put down there, yeah, this nigga right here, let me type in, that's an American. You had to type that in as a YT man over there in Germany. And somebody telling you, yeah, that's an American right there, sir. Okay. So let me get on to the whole, and then people try to Africanize it. So let me get on to that, because I can go all day and finding Indians utilizing blue indigo dye well before somebody, and people depicting them doing it. So let's get into the game. Let's get into the game. I think I'm gonna have to go this way. I can leave that up, actually. We'll leave that up for right now. We'll open up this right, y'all, local video. Okay. Okay, so I was just watching for 10 minutes. I wasn't spying on Tariq every single day, looking for that gotcha moment. I'm gonna find one every day. Every day I'm up every day. 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. 4 a.m. Listening to this nigga record now. He gonna say some wrong shit. I'm just saying that because all it takes is 10 minutes to find a nigga saying some wrong shit. Anyway, 10 minutes of observation, the nigga gonna say something wrong. I'm just okay. Anyway, so let's listen.
Let me build on that. Hold on. Let me build on that. Even blue jeans, sir, that came out of foundational Black Americans in slavery. Let me build on that. Hold on. Let me build on that. Even blue jeans, sir, that came out of foundational Black Americans in slavery.
Now, had you just stopped as it came out of foundational Black Americans, I still would have been pissed off. But at least you could try to make the excuse of, we have indigenous blood and mixture of 20% and white folk 20% and this and all that, and then people will be okay. Then I can't really just cut your neck. Yeah, whatever. TikTok friendly, but with the info, entertainment purposes only. But you went into saying it happened in slavery, just like you said our music came from slavery. Now people don't know, but I did a video showing each one of these particular pioneers of each genre and showed how each one of them came from specific Indian tribes, usually from the South, where most of the Indians were. Well, I don't want to say most. We was all over the United States. Lewis Corus found us on the West Coast in 1822 looking melanated. People found us in the Northeast looking melanated like some Shinnecocks and some Senecas. And we was melanated down in the South at the Choctaws, Cherokees, Chickasaws, Yamasees. We was melanated with the Apaches, the originals. We was melanated all around the place, to be honest with you. But you've now taken it and changed it over to a slavery story. Now you've shifted time frames for it. Now in the psyche of the FBA group, when they listen to this and they parrot this, it is going to sound like it started then. Now, y'all may think this is harmless, right? But let's go into what's up, Alicia Faye? What she say? And in Mexico. I must have missed what you said, but yeah. She said in Mexico. Oh, yeah, we was the same thing down in Mexico too. Yes, and down through all South America, of course. We got receipts upon receipts showing that the Indians were the same up and down the 40th north latitude and 40th south latitude. Said extremely harmful. FBAs, please study more about real Americans. Appreciate Epiphany Nation putting that out. And not the Africanized version. So let me show you how the mainstream will pick this up. And it's not that they picked it up, but they've already started the propaganda. So it's either they can either start it through the grassroots and then eventually Africanize it, or it could be already put out there as a talking point through propaganda and Africanize, and we pick up those talking points and it is made popularized by a high up influencer, if you will. Right. So let's go into the video. So I ain't gonna cut David down too much right now. I understand he was just kind of going back and forth with the energy of Tariq, but that was Tariq's talking point. He said it was in slavery, right? Okay, now let's go to the next thing. Let's do this. Hold up. Whoops. Local video. So if you was to look the topic up and Google it, you'll easily on the first Google page, you'll come up on certain things. You definitely won't find the government source. You won't find hardly no EDU source about black people. If you were to Google black Americans got denim created denim in slavery, you won't get no .government sources. You won't get no .edu sources. None of that. What you'll get is random propaganda. You shouldn't get anything, right? If it's a lie and it never even happened, you really shouldn't get any results. Black Americans created blah blah blah. It should be random ass shit that says I don't know what you're talking about because it was an Indian invention, and it's in an encyclopedia saying it's been around for 6,000 years. So okay, let me pull this up.
And it was wealth, but they never tell you who engineered it. Follow now if you know Carolina's real capital was grown in the mud because rice, not cotton, built South Carolina, and it was Gullah people who made it possible. Planters didn't know how to grow.
Black Tito. No, I'm a black. I'm sorry. I can do that. I don't give a damn what the fuck that nigga saying right now, nigga. We going in the info. Fuck you. All right, back. We going back. Ho ass.
Rice. They brought us here because we did, from West Africa's rice coast.
Oh, my bad. This is the wrong one. This is the going in about the rice. Hold on, y'all. Hold up. Because we're gonna get to the rice too. We're gonna get to the rice and the gullah bullshit. Here we go. So we're gonna do the first one.
Pain, power. This is why blue jeans are more than just clothes. Their color tells a story of pain, power, and perseverance. The truth runs deeper than denim. Long before Levi Strauss patented blue jeans, their iconic hue came from indigo, a dye so prized it was called blue gold. But that rich color? It was born in fields worked by enslaved black Americans in the American South. Their forced labor and agricultural genius built the indigo industry, extracting the deep blue that would soon wrap the world. Indigo made...
Who did it? Let's listen to that again.
Their forced labor and agricultural genius built the indigo industry.
Their forced labor and agricultural genius built the indigo industry.
extracting the deep blue that would soon wrap the world.
The slaves extracted the deep blue that would soon captivate the world. The slaves.
Indigo made fortunes, but its true cost was counted in black lives and stolen freedom. We wear blue jeans as a symbol of rugged independence. But every stitch, every shade is woven with the history of those whose hands harvested the dye. Remember that legacy. The blue in your jeans is more than a color. It's a story that refuses to fade.
So first of all, let me see if I can swap this. Yeah, that's what's up. I like that. That's pretty dope. First of all, it's propaganda. Okay, you got to. First of all, you should be asking who made this video and where did they get the video information from? What did they research to come up with this particular thing? That's really what you should be first asking. And I've always been telling people, I had to send these photos over here. I've been telling people, stop. Here it is right there. Stop following and listening to videos that is just some random person doing faceless videos, because they've been telling y'all they want you to make a video, make a YouTube and do faceless videos. Be famous. You ain't even got to show yourself. That's what they're doing on purpose. They want you to make sure it's normalized, because then you're going to believe every voice you fucking hear, no matter what the fuck they say. And this person has 362,000 followers, and that's the type of shit that he's disseminating. Tariq could have watched that. That's maybe where he got his little information. He ain't got to go typing around and digging around and reading books and figuring it out. He just waits till he gets fed propaganda from some random voice behind the screen. Or maybe he watched the next thing I'm about to show you, because this didn't necessarily Africanize it. It did slaveryize it, which is not a word, but I'm making it a word right now. You slaveryized it to whatever degree. Okay, but let's see. Once you've eased the line, just like y'all try to do on the, or try to get into people with the whole hip hop debate, and he did the documentary. Once people ease their way in, that's what Tariq was saying on all them live streams. Oh, they easing their way in, and we got to stop them. And I believe that. There's nothing wrong with that. That is true. But just like you ease your way in with Africa, with slavery talking points as the buffer between the Indian truth and the Africanizing, the slavery is the buffer. The slavery, and actually that's not just in modern propaganda usage type times or whatever on topics, but really that was also the case in 1857 during the Dred Scott case. The 1860 slavery codes, they got changed up during that time, which we can show that all of a sudden started adding African language, and also the 1866 treaties that all got rewrote by all 5 tribes who were all members of the Masons, along with Albert Pike being the top Mason, and he was their attorney, and I got all that shit, and he's the one that drew up those. But anyways, what I'm getting to is you ease in slavery as the reason, and then you ease in Africanism, Africanizing it after that. So let's get to the Africanizer. Let's get to some people who really went super hard. Let me go over here with it. Let me go here with it. Let me go here with it.
Pain, power.
There we go. Let me see if I can make this bigger. It's doing that because of the format. Customize, maximize. Well, no, not that. Oh, damn it. What up, folks on the YouTube world? I didn't even see y'all over there. I swear I be missing. My bad. What's up, Umber Bees? What's up, Mary Colbert? I said the land was plentiful, them a lot of birds, feathers fit. D Nice says Black Indian is an oxymoron, moron. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get you blocked, moron. And whoever that is, they put like a little. I don't know what that is. Okay, so we're just gonna play it. I
People
figured I
don't
can make it.
necessarily
I figured I can make it bigger, but I can't. And sorry, I haven't been catching up for y'all over there on TikTok. Yes, they blow up that little part of the history request up. Uh, okay, y'all going back and forth, and I don't want to miss. I don't want to mess with somebody's what you call it, and I'll be able to said the wrong thing. All right, so let's listen to this. This is now easing it from slavery to African shit.
think about how their blue jeans came to be blue. Historically, that's because of the indigo dye. Centuries ago, indigo was said to be worth its weight in gold. Competition for it was so fierce, Europeans actually called it the devil's dye.
Indigo is, in fact, a weed. The process of turning indigo from this small green leaf into a dye.
Now, they're just talking about it right now. I'm getting a little green on, you know what I mean? But they just talking about it right now, right? Seems like a perfectly fine story.
Is a very delicate process. So only the most skilled are able to do this.
One of the neatest things about dyeing with indigo is the dye vat is green. It's not blue. And when you introduce a fabric like denim to the dye vat, it comes out green. And then as it oxidizes in our atmosphere, it turns blue. It is magic.
Now, what I want you to realize is right now what's happening to you is you're being fed. You're being fed propaganda very slowly. We're going to feed you some truths real quick. How does indigo work? What is it about indigo? How does it even get made? Ooh, look, I'm going to make it real slowly with African music. Listen to the patterns of music in the back. Is this American music?
Indigo dyeing is magic.
Let's go back. Hold up.
It turns blue. It is magic.
Is that African? Because obviously we ain't dancing to that. What the fuck is that? Fuck is that? Get that music out of here, nigga. That ain't no Indian shit. They didn't play that shit in Peru, goddammit. Fuck out of here. But on top of that, they give you some truths. How was indigo made? How was it done? Oh, you into it now. They got the nice goddamn aerial Alexa cameras, nigga, in the motherfucking cinematic mode, nigga. You into this goddamn story, the super close up of some random bitch squeezing out dinner. Who the fuck is that bitch? What's up, wise one? What's up, Nikki? Hearts, appreciate you. What's happening with you? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's what they doing right now, slowly. But let's keep it going.
Indigo dyeing is magic.
In many cultures, indigo cloth has a spiritual importance. In Africa, the cloth is In many cultures, indigo cloth has a spiritual importance. In Africa, the cloth is
Yeah. Yes. Fuck Peru. Fuck 6,000 years of what Peru was doing. Let's look over this way. In Shitholeville. I'm probably gonna get restricted. Fuck it. Shit dusty fuckville. And look at how they do indigo practices and ignore exactly what was going on here for 6,000 years. Let's continue.
considered the next layer to the skin. It holds the person's soul, their spirit.
You ain't got no soul and spirit, man. What the hell you talking about? Fuck, what the? Hold your soul and spirit. Where? Where was that soul and spirit when you was marrying that 11-year-old child? Fuck your little damn bullshit you got going on, faking it up now with some indigo nigga done probably put over there for you. Don't get me wrong. I read that it might have had some may have gotten some native other type might be from over there in Africa. It's not ours, and they damn sure wasn't doing it like us. When the last time you seen one of these bitch ass niggas wearing denim? Before they got it from a goddamn Goodwill fucking goddamn people didn't even want the I can't even get to it. The shit that people didn't even want a Goodwill. They done shipped it off and now the niggas wearing denim. From 2001. Hella baggy. Where you find these baggy ass clothes? Nigga, that's Ross 2001 clothes. Come on, man. Let it keep going. It's the shit that pisses me off. And I didn't even, as I was going down the path of this story, I already knew I had Tariq's head chopped up as far as, information wise. You got to keep it clean on TikTok. Information wise, with the information, which is right, that's what I meant. But with this whole thing, just based off the encyclopedia and the information I already had, further going down the rabbit hole to even just look at more stuff, I could have just did a video based off of that. Just show the encyclopedia, show the talking point, be done. But you see, this is what we do. We go even further as Indians to get the real information, to dig deep, to see where in my mind, I'm like, where could he have gotten this talking point? Did he create it himself? Did he hear it somewhere? And I can give a little bit of grace that maybe he watched this, but we're going to actually continue to watch it. I can't really give full grace because who's telling us this story about this indigo? Let's keep going.
Africans have had a long history of working indigo and knew the special process involved in making the dye-in and dyeing cloth.
Africans had a long history of working with indigo and knew the special processes, and she skipped over her fake lying ass words. Bitch, that's the Lord trying to tell you to shut the fuck up. Shut your lying ass the hell up, and you still got it out. That's what it was. I can't stand these folks. Okay? Let it keep going.
And of course, many African captives who became enslaved in the New World brought with.
And of course, many African captives. You tell zero history. You say Africans believe denim could hold the soul, and they've had a long time of practicing it. And of course, they brought it to America with slavery. They've been doing it. Like I just told you, I didn't show you no good reasons or any information that tells you that's what was going on. And I can't tell you I can't tell you how they found the indigo niggas out of all the niggas over there that died it out of the few, because it definitely wasn't prevalent. You can't show me past goddamn photographs or goddamn paintings of these niggas wearing blue that I probably can find. Maybe there are. I don't know. I ain't looked for that. I probably should have looked. But even though, I bet you probably can't find it. And if you do, it's probably dusty than a motherfucker. The most dingy ass blue you can find. How do you get this blue to look dirty and brown like this? Y'all made y'all blue out of shit? I knew y'all made houses out of it, but nigga, we use indigo. How did you extract this? You used the shit to extract the blue out the indigo? You said you was going for a shit blue? You was going for a shlu look? All right, niggas. All right. So let me keep going.
Them knowledge of how to extract the blue from the plant and how to fix the blue to fabrics. Indigo is one of the ways in which slaveholding became tied to the economic fortunes of the colonial experiment in the Americas.
So in the mid-1700s, there was this labor that had been extracted from Africa, and indigo presents itself as this thing with economic possibility. And then when you add to it moving the dye stuff from...
Now, you gotta realize who's feeding you the information. Isn't that the goodness, man? Isn't that the same phenotype? Act like I can't tighten it. I need to grab it harder. Isn't that the same phenotype? There we go. No way I can get a larger grip. Are the same people that try to erase your Indian history and call themselves Native Americans? Ain't that the same phenotype? If you was to throw a couple little feather earrings on them like they used to do, like if she get on here and they do the feather earring, and they might do the little circle thing on the chest. That's enough for them to be. That's how they go from Clark Kent to Superman, from the trailer park to Indian reservation. That's kind of how they do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same type of person that's feeding this information here to us right now. They don't show any facts, and they're telling you that denim was done that way. Now, do you think they enslaved Africans, brought them over, got lucky that they found indigo here at some point, and also got lucky that they found random niggas that said, "Oh, you've done this before? Oh, well, shit. Okay, well, cool. You could come back with me to America. It's a new place we just got to. You could work with me in the fields, and you could take your expertise." Do you think that's what the fuck happened? Or do you think they enslaved the people that was here? And not even just that. Not even that. Let me take that back. Or do you think that it was already a big industry of indigo in the South? It was no primitive Indians like they want to tell you. We had large plantations of indigo, and eventually, and we had the indigo going all around the world, Europe and everywhere else. And eventually, they took over the industry, assumed the names of the people who actually owned that industry under some identity fraud shit for the future, and probably maybe off the couple who was, you know what I'm saying, over that industry, and now they're the plantation owners. And then they come up with a story about how they owned y'all people and y'all was slaves for them, and they brought you over from Africa, and that's how y'all niggas know how to make it, not because you was the Indians that actually owned those plantations prior. Huh? Especially with it being here for over 6,000 years. Do you think 6,000 years is long enough for you to make a hell of a big industry out of it? A worldwide industry? A worldwide trade with it? This light is bright as hell in my eye. Bright as hell in my face. I'm trying to look this way. It says I said they made that up, the concept with the banjo. Yeah, they made up the concept with the banjo too. Because you have gourds from the calabash and the gourd trees down here in Florida, and some in the Caribbeans and South America, which was used to making some of the first banjos, which eventually led to the guitar. And they don't want you to know that, because if you made the banjo and you made the guitar and you made the drum set and you made the drum, every music genre is pretty much yours. The only other thing you really got is pianos, which, hell, if I was to look far enough back, we probably created that shit too. Okay, from a harp. I think they said Egyptians created the harp. That would likely be us. You think some African created a harp? This nigga would take that string and wipe his ass with it. Okay, he string his ass through. What real world do you see an African making a harp, creating a harp, and getting every perfect string perfectly tuned to certain frequencies, and then making the type of music they make with it, nigga? Look at what they made, nigga. Now watch. Nigga can't make no music. Niggas ain't create no goddamn instruments. And they damn sure ain't create this goddamn dye. Man, y'all know I be clowning. Let me let this bullshit finish playing. It ain't got too much longer. Let me go back a little bit so we can get the context, and then we'll move on to furthering this bullshit. Appreciate the gifts, y'all. Appreciate that. What's up, Meta? How you doing this evening? Somewhat even, slight evening. Oh, yeah, it's 6 o'clock now. Evening. Yeah, appreciate all y'all. What up, Swarthy? What up, all y'all? All right, let's keep it going.
Became enslaved in the New World, brought with them knowledge of how to extract the blue from the plant and how to fix the blue to fabrics. Indigo is one of the ways in which slaveholding became tied to the economic fortunes of the colonial experiment in the Americas.
So in the mid 1700s, there was this labor that had been extracted from Africa, and indigo presents itself as this thing with economic possibility. And then when you add to it moving the dye stuff from one end of the world to the other, it only increased in value.
Yeah, next time I'll remember to screen record this on my iPad instead of my iPhone, so the video will be a lot larger. But okay, so now I just showed how they're Africanizing it. Okay, I love it. This is pretty damn cool. I love this little what you call it, hella professional. So again, we've already seen 15,000 years of encyclopedia history of indigo being here, and it's being listed as being here for over 6,000 years, as I googled earlier, being in use, ancient use, for 6,000 plus years. Now we've been known as ancients. Let's see if I can find one real quick. I didn't think about this till now, but let's see. Let me see real quick. Even in the newspapers, well, okay. Now, this one you'll see here, they talk about the ancient Yamasis. Okay, it says this is a newspaper article I have found, and it says this is said to. Let me do this real quick so you can follow along. Instead of me just reading all this screen right here, let's do this. This is said to be the country of the ancient Yamasis, and it is a fact that the Creeks held a slave race descended from the Yamasi nation. Okay, so first of all, I can find in the newspapers, even if you want to tie any kind of slavery to any kind of slavery of indigo or anything, we can find even in the newspapers folks that knew about Yamasis, calling them ancient, knowing that they've been enslaved by another tribe, Indian on Indian slavery. Yet they don't want to talk about these stories when they talk about slavery. I was gonna try to find one, but I got so many things that popped up under the word ancient, which I should have knew. I was gonna find one that says the ancient Choctaws, but I got one that refers to us as the ancient Choctaws. And many different Indian tribes refer to as ancient. I was about to say as ancient tribes, but as ancient. Okay. So if indigo, what I'm saying is basically if indigo was around since ancient times of use, and I can tie my genealogical records to ancient niggas, then obviously we were the ancient niggas doing the dye, not some Africans, especially since it's propagated blue dye, indigo, all throughout the United States, well more so than someplace in Africa. Like I said, them niggas ain't got no blue denim jeans. The fuck is wrong with these folks? All right. So let me get out of this. So And let me just make sure there wasn't anything else on that particular thing because I had some stuff saved on my phone too. Let me just make sure I didn't forget something. Yeah. Dapper Dan. Let me send these over there real quick. Now, I didn't find it whether or not Dapper Dan was American Indian. I didn't look that long. I only looked into him for like 10 minutes, if that. If I would, I'm only gonna spend so long on topics that only need so much information. I was just trying to make another video, but I at least, but that also lets you know my little 5-10 minutes here and there. You know what I'm saying? I'd be done more research than everything damn near Tariq done did. And not this is just, but also a lot of niggas, other niggas too. Like I don't, and it don't take much. It takes a decent amount of brain, being inquisitive, and being not being lazy and doing the work. But now I found this first. It talked about how Dapper Dan. It says that. Let me just do this. But it says the Dapper Dan was an iconic fashion designer famous for the luxury streetwear of the iconic logos. Now, for Native American, but it says has a connection to Native American imagery. Doesn't say that he's a Native American or an Indian. It says notably through his American Indian collection featuring feathered headdresses. So it's kind of, I was already kind of intrigued that what's up, Regal? He said Tariq is just good at running his mouth. Exactly. That's why he gets on here every day and does that instead of researching and then getting onto here. You know what I'm saying? Your boy like me spends more time researching than I do going live. Way more time researching. Boy, I wake up researching. And y'all know it. Y'all know I do. Y'all know I do. I wake up in the morning, 4:00 in the morning, ain't shit else going on. Ain't shit else going on but me, some more of this good greenage. And until it's time for me to hit the streets to start putting in work. But I'm up every morning listening to y'all go live on y'all live streams, and as I do my research, and I'm reading old books, going through letters, going through newspapers, going through websites, shoveling through archives, all kind of shit, man. What nigga said, what's up, nigga? She said he doesn't do any research. Exactly. He uses secondhand information or whatever's popping at the time. No, that's real. In fact, that's what a lot of his documentaries are built off of. Now, don't get me wrong. No, I don't even want to say that. I was about to give a little bit of credit, but no. Yeah, no. A lot of his documentaries are built off of other people's research. He'll bring on 5, 6, 7, 8 niggas, have them tell a story all encompassed around the story. He may have looked a little bit into it, but these niggas is the information he's going to use. And then he'll put himself in there and he'll throw the talking points in there. And then it's a bunch of B-roll and a bunch of other shit, no proven documents or anything that's going to show you the real. Just niggas saying what happened. You go with it. Every once in the blue, they'll show good documents. Let me get the tape back. Every once in the blue, I've seen them show some documents or something, but typically it's reenactment scenes and stuff like that. And I'm not against reenactment scenes, but we do got to get to the information. We do got to get to the let me see the proof, and that's why a lot of my people that follow me is because I show you everything I'm talking about. I'm not just up here, me on the screen, ranting and raving, saying what I feel, saying how I got it, and then I'll just tell you, look it up. And that's the next thing too that they do to you is they tell you to go look it up, which makes you think that they looked it up. Now look it up, man. You didn't know Africans brought over indigo? Google it. Guaranteed it's in there. And then a nigga like me will be on the live stream or Google it, the poll have the screenshot up that'll say, no, it didn't. Huh? Well, I mean, somebody must have changed something. They'll make up excuses. It'll be excuses, or it'll just be they'll just keep lying or whatever. Yo, take a DNA test. What does that got to do with dinner? I don't know. That's my go-to line. I'm running out of lines. Okay. All right. Let me see. It says, Medicine live, night and day, live, live and breathe it for my people. Yes, yes, yes. Meta is one of those folks that's definitely on a all day research path, genealogical path, looking up other. When you've gotten past your own history and you looking up other people's histories in the community, you're on another level. You're on another level with where you're going with things. You know what I'm saying? To actually, it's one thing to have a person, a matriarch in your family at a family reunion that just knows your family's history. Imagine a person that knows multiple family histories and the migration patterns and connections between them. That's pretty dope. And it's and very, very, very much so valuable to the community. Says tell the story in 2.3 seconds or less. Agreed, FBAs. Please gather truthful American history. Yes, be truthful. Through years of research, some have surpassed scholarly levels. No, that's real. That's real. I've had many scholars that's gotten many degrees be blown away with what I show them and my level of research. And to be honest, I laugh all the time because I'm like, y'all have no clue, man. I just be sitting around chilling and getting it in. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going through stuff, and then my homeboy be like, "Man, it's like it's nothing to you. I understand it's nothing to you, man, but it's really something that a lot of people don't do. It takes time. The mindset, the connections you got to make. I do got a pretty good mind for making the connections between things that I see, and that's why I used to be good in like IT and problem solving. Like I could solve any kind of problem that I just need to know what it is. I don't want to say, well, but really pretty much. But like I used to be in like IT a little bit, like a little bit of stuff like that, a little bit. Do a lot of cable work. Used to be a cable engineer, all kind of little random shit. So like I got a little brain. I got a little something in the brain, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't like some collegiate level. I went to college for a little bit for a few years, but I didn't really get the degree. By the time I was gonna have the degree done, hell, I was making good money. Out of high school, I went to college for like 2 years, didn't go back. Had a kid early, and didn't finish school, and then eventually went back to school later in my mid to late 20s. But by that time, I was making pretty good money doing cable work. That IT work, just didn't seem like worth going back to or doing anything with technical support or whatever the case. So what up now, Wall? He said research is an art. It takes skill, fam. You got to appreciate that, man. Uh yeah, he said my eyes still hurt from looking at microfilm, right? Yeah, now Enola be sending me hella you all appreciate that, Enola be sending some crazy cool stuff she be finding. She just found a book in Georgia that has so many colored labeled Americans as free voters during 18, I think, oh 04. I said, huh. Do you realize how much this could change the narrative if you got your hands on that whole book full of people listed as free colored folks? Not to say that not to say that the numbers may not already match with the free colored population that was already existing, but what if the numbers don't match? It's these things that I would love to get my hands on and uh and compare, because it's always about those changes, finding those changes. What happened? It was this before, now it's this now. What happened in between, and why did it happen in between? Who's telling this story? Why are they telling this story? What's the bias behind the shit? We gotta ask all those questions. What up, Rico Mills? All right, so let me into the Dapper Dan thing. So it just says that he'd had that, right? But I was like, okay, let me keep looking. What else did I find under him? Yeah, it just talks about like Dapper Dan, the American Indian. He created the designs and stuff like that. It didn't really let me know. I probably should have asked. Let me just do it real quick. I didn't ask it this. Is Dapper Dan an American Indian? All right, just be bright, flat out. See what it says. No, he's not American Indian. He is a renowned African American fashion designer. You think I believe that shit? Do you think I believe that shit? Cultural significance, Dapper Dead. But if you ask his grandma and grandpa, they'll tell you Shinnecock. He's an African American. Shinnecock, okay, or Seneca, or one of them from up there, right? So, but that's what they talked about. But I will say this: I still, I thought I had something else with that. Okay, here it is. Here it is. I got to send it over there though. Hold up, for us to hear it. Um, I might have already sent it, but I found this very interesting. That I found very interesting. Let's see. All right.
Hey guys, I'm in Harlem on 155th Street. I'm standing in front of what used to be the American Indian Museum when I was growing up.
He says he's standing in front of what used to be the American Indian Museum when he was growing up. Now, I got a screenshot of it. I'll send it.
Today, it's the campus for Boricua College. But the history here goes all the way back to 1916 and 1922.
1916, 1922.
All about the American Indian. And I figured this would be a good point to mention in Harlem because this, in 1916, around the time that this was being built, was the time that a lot of blacks was coming into Sugar Hill.
Around 1916, they were building a structure looking very Romanesque, as you see above me here. That's dope. As you see above me here, for Indians that they were trying to get rid of and doing all these tricks to. They said in 1916, let me build you a museum as big as a coliseum, or not a coliseum, but whatever, as big as a state capitol, as intricately designed as a state capitol. Today, they just throw you in any kind of little shack. But back then in 1916, they were giving you the grand designs. Today, you can get the old beat up Walmart down the street that got closed down. Yesterday, they were doing grand things for the Indians at an early time when they said they really didn't like you. While they had plans of making cowboy and Indian movies because they got to get rid of the Indians, even though they got rid of y'all. And then they come out with cowboy and Indian movies, acting like they was using y'all in the movies. Also, where did this Roman structure come from? In 1916 and 1920, you talk about niggas coming around that time? Huh. Let's see something that was also amazing happening around that time. Let me remove him real quick. 1916. Now, some of y'all already seen my little video, but we'll do this. $18.99. We got the Hampton Institute in the newspapers celebrating Indian Citizenship Day. Hampton University becomes HBCU Hampton University. Hampton Institute becomes Hampton University, the HBCU. They were celebrating Indian citizenship before that building was even built. You don't really, and even in, hold up, even in 1914, just years before it was built, Hampton University was on some Indian Citizenship Day. The colored students were, you know, served by the Indian students, assisted by the colored students. They did separate Indian students from colored students. I will put that in there. Makes you wonder what's the difference. What were they talking about the difference on here? Not for sure. Not for sure, but I will point it out because I'm truthful when I find the information. But I still find it very odd that an HBCU would house both people and be celebrating Indian Citizenship Day. Now they were celebrating this based upon the Dawes Rolls. Let's see if I got that one. I know I got it, but hell, it says it somewhere. One of these. Let me do this. Dawes. See if it'll find it that way. Yep. The passing of the Dawes Bill. Now, why is that important? Why is that important? Well, yeah, we'll do the Snyder. Yeah, other Indians of today don't really get made citizens until later. This is the Snyder Bill. The Snyder Bill doesn't even really start getting much discussed a lot until the 1919 time frame. This is after they've trained a lot of so-called Native Americans, which really they shipped over a bunch of Japanese, Chinese, islanders from the Philippines, the East side, the East Indies, and all these other folks. And I got the manifest for all that stuff, shipped them over here, put them through boarding schools, which taught them to be, which were military, which were not boarding schools, they were military training facilities. In fact, the Carlisle School today is a war college, army college or war college, but they don't make these people citizens. Uh, when is Indian Citizenship Day? If you ask Google when Indian Citizenship Day is, it'll tell you it's this day. It'll tell you it's 1924. That's 1899 is when Hampton Institute was celebrating Indian Citizenship Day, but Indian Citizenship Day is somehow 25 years later, just now getting started. And this goes to the point of erasure. The modern information about it doesn't even tell you that Hampton University used to do it. In fact, when I say when was Indian Citizenship Day, it should take me to something that tells me about the Hampton Institute. But notice how everybody says it's 1924, nigga. What you mean? Who would have been, even Wikipedia? Who else would have been doing it? Who else? I mean, it didn't get started until this time. Well, how come I found that? How come I found that? And isn't that erasing Hampton celebrating it every year for 25, 30 years? And now making it a major celebration where everybody else gets to celebrate it, overshadowing the people who were doing it, eventually leading to erasure. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So when we talk about this denim story, and now we're about to get into the Gullah rice, the Geechee rice. Can't say Gullah. That's horrible. But we're gonna get into the Geechee rice story. That's what we about to get into. But I just showed you a case of erasure. I'm sure many of y'all did not know we celebrated that prior to it being something they celebrate. They better stop that shit. Imagine if, and that was for the Dawes Rolls. My people are on the Dawes Rolls. Imagine if this holiday would have gotten really famous amongst our folks, like things tend to do. Imagine if all of y'all at some point start celebrating this here Indian Citizenship Day across the. You ain't gonna be able to stop it. You better get something out there and stop it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to stop it. It'd have been concreted into our psyche at that point that no, nigga, no, we've been doing Indian Citizenship Day, nigga. You ain't seen? Niggas get together all the time for Citizenship Day. That's what it would have been. But okay. So they've erased that. Let's look at the rice story. Now, let's see if I can find where I first saw it here. They encourage the same masters. For the service. Hold up. It's going to be one of these here. Because this is in the zone where I found it and then started doing my research. Fortunate having occasion this Dustin in Carolina. I think this is it. Yeah. I think so. Let me just make sure I find it. Yeah, bag of rice. Okay. All right. So let's see what I found in a book that was written in 1770 something. A historical account on the rise and the progress of the colonies of South Carolina and Georgia, Geechee area, Yamasee area, okay, before they were called Geechees and other things, but Yamasees was there, other tribes, whatever, without going into all of them. So let's get to read, man. It says, about this time, a fortunate accident happened, which occasioned the introduction of rice into Carolina. An accident? A commodity which was afterwards found very suitable to the climate and soil of the country. A brigantine, a boat. Let's get out of here. Decently sized boat. Oh, hell, what the hell happened? Oh, okay. Okay. A brigantine from the island of Madagascar, touching that place in her way to Britain, came to anchor off Sullivan Island. Now, they do talk about it going to Madagascar. Got to be honest about it. But let's keep reading. Touching at that place in her way to Britain. So that's going another route. Somebody went from Madagascar to Britain. Now let's look at where Madagascar is. For those who do not have an idea, Madagascar, they do contribute that to be Africa, right? We'll give them that. We'll keep going though. Keep going. I did all this when I was reading too. I was like, hold on, man, Madagascar. Hold on, man. These niggas might be real. These niggas might be telling the truth. Hold on. But it says, okay. There, Landgrave Smith, upon an invitation from the captain, paid him a visit and received from him a percent of a bag of seed rice, which he said he had seen growing in Eastern countries. Now, I want you to notice, I'm not taking away from the story that somebody may have brought rice from Africa, but notice the story is not the same. Remember, they told you the Africans brought it in their hair. The Africans somehow brought this rice over here. Well, here you got somebody saying they got it off the coast of Madagascar before they headed this way. Some YT man. When did it get into the Africans' hair like lice? That's weird. That's odd. That's weird. It said that explains why some of us have Madagascar cousins. Oh, I didn't even know that, Lena. Says it's 87% in here. Everybody should be reporting the lie. Appreciate that, Divine Number 9. What's happening, Divine Number 9? What's up, Lisa Faye? She said, Lisa Faye, I already said what's up to her. She said, tap the screen. Appreciate you. Crew Rock, what's happening? Hey, Samuel. Hey, can I ask you something? Yeah, what's up, Lena? You'll send it to me. Okay, yeah, and I would say I'd let you up on the panel, but I ain't even gonna lie. I haven't even really figured out how to work a panel screen and all that yet with this TikTok studio. At some point, you can either ask it now or you can come up after I'm done with all these presentations if you're still around, and then I can try to get you up here. And if I have any problems at that point, we'll be fine. I'll be done with the info. You said I heard the same about Madagascar. You did, Nikki? Okay, yeah, okay. And so they say somebody just brought over a bag. And now let's keep reading before I get off into that, because I started looking more into that, because I started looking at I'll just kind of spill the beans before I show it, but like I started looking into it and I'm like, oh, rice was prevalent more in Asia. In Asia, it says rice was prevalent in Asia at that time, and the Americas also had a rice. They don't say it in here, but we'll get to that. But it was in Asia. So now when I looked at this map and it's in Madagascar, they're getting it, which, they could have got it. They could have went they could have traveled through the Middle East to get to Africa with it. But apparently it got to Madagascar. They ain't even touch Africa. And so I'm just like, well, shit, Madagascar probably got it from Asia. All right, so that don't mean it was an African thing. And in fact, it's showing that it wasn't likely indigenous to Africa, likely indigenous to more so up there. And then on top of that, that they've adapted it over time. And that's definitely not the same side as people was traveling to the U.S. from. But either way, well, to a degree, I will say the Spaniards did. I'll show you. I don't want to get off the screen, but I was like, man, I don't want to get off the screen. But the Spaniards did used to take routes down around Africa and come to the Philippines area, and then from that point they would go over here to the Americas. They did that, and you wouldn't think that they would do that a lot, because it seems like a longer route, which it may be because they got fake maps or something, I don't know. But I can show you later because I want to get off that screen. They did this route way more than they did this route. And in fact, this route was only done like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And as far as the lines that I seen going back and forth. Now, how many times fully? But I mean, I only seen a few lines. Most of the lines in the Spain Museum of Naval whatever that I actually had, that's on their wall, most of the lines came from this way. It was a ton of them. I couldn't even count them all. I mean, I probably could if I sat there, but whatever. Okay, so let's get back to this. And that makes even more sense to, well, whatever. No, I'm tripping. So let's get so Eastern countries where it was growing. And so they say Eastern countries. They didn't say Africa. They said Eastern countries where it was growing. Okay, is where he brought the bag of seed rice from Madagascar, but it was seen growing in Eastern countries. It says where it is deemed excellent food, produced an incredible increase. The governor divided his bag of rice between these folks. Okay, Sean, Stephen Bull, Joseph Woodward, and some other folks, and agreed. They agreed to the experiment, and they agreed to the experiment and planted parcels of rice in different soils. So let's stop it right here too. They said the Africans brought the know-how. They said it was African ingenuity and African. They try to make like modern terms for agricultural chemistry, whatever. I can't even think of the words right now. But they try to come up with some new phrase or something every time to try to make it seem like they're giving hella credit, making you feel more happy. Like, yes, please give more credit to the nigga slaves. That makes me happy. Y'all need to do more with all the hell y'all gave the slaves and my ancestors. That's what it really is. They overly hype up the slave story and as if they're giving credit and paying hella homage to it, laughing in the background like, nigga, that ain't got shit. This is a whole lie. This is a whole lie we telling you right now. But okay, so it wasn't the Africans that brought it over. It was the YT folks that brought it over. And it wasn't the African ingenuity that figured out how to get it planted. It was three niggas and some friends who planted it in random soils and took on the experiment. Okay. And it says, upon trial, found it answered their high expectations. Some years afterwards, Mr. Dubois. Now, this ain't the same Mr. Dubois, likely because this is 1774. This book was written, and the Dubois we know was not around in 1774. But did Dubois come from some what do you call it? Some corrupt folks? Because right here it says he was the treasurer of the East India Company. A Dubois, the president of the East India Company? Oh, treasurer. Said maybe it's his uncle or father. It's possible. Yeah. As we all know, surnames always connect. It says even to fraudulent motherfuckers. Would that be WB? Oh, I see you there, Miko. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. I tagged you earlier. Hope I didn't miss your question, Lena. Or you gonna answer later? Hold on. Yo, what up, Jeremiah? What up, Woken Gator? He's laughing his ass off. Crew out. What's up, Uncle? How you doing tonight? The lovely Uncle. Kwame nigga said, I thought wild rice contributed to the mic in the regular rice. We'll get to the wild rice. Now that could be a part of the story. They're not telling us. You know, I don't fully trust all the stuff they tell me in these books, but I will take it over a modern talking point. So like if a modern talking point like rice was growing here in Africa and they brought rice from Africa in the hair of slaves, and this says differently, I'm going to take it and be like, oh yeah, I'm debunking that bullshit. But then even this, I still question for sure. Definitely for sure. What's up, Amor? She says, I met someone from Madagascar and he looked East Indian and straight with straight hair. That says a lot. Then we got Dubois here with the East Indian Company. Nikki said, then your typical so-called Africans. You might be responding, or it might be on something I said earlier. But didn't we have wild rice in Central and South America? Yes, we're gonna get to that too. And they don't talk about it typically, but we do. And I'm gonna show you some people picking it actually too. You said, what page is this? I need to read it. I'll send. Oh, you said you're gonna send it to my inbox. I see, Lena. I see. Okay. And you said, what page is this? Page 119 and the one before it. 118, 119. All right. I done got caught up. I love wild rice. I had it before. It was pretty good. I need to buy it again. It's a long time ago that I had it. I need to buy it again. It said it's only right to analyze it. Mucho Poyomo. I don't know what that is or who that is. Anthony Ira or whatever. I wasn't gonna say that. So you thought I was gonna say that second part. I see your name ain't. Is it some troll shit? It said it's hard to find it in stores now. Yeah, yeah. If you want to find wild rice, you can go to Whole Foods, Natural Grocers. Those two typical places almost always have it, and Sprouts might. Sprouts likely too. And it's been a while, but next time I'm gonna pick up some and throw throw some sugar and rice on it. That motherfucking South shit y'all don't like. Some of y'all don't like. Then when a nigga throw sugar and rice on that motherfucking, sugar and butter on that bitch, and eat it with my goddamn extra sausage and my goddamn chopped up, diced up, little square ass motherfucking potatoes that my papa and granny used to cut up. I still do that. And the goddamn eggs with the cheese with a little bit of salt, pepper, a little onion powder. You know what I'm saying? A little cheese. All that. Said not the sugar. Yes, the sugar and the butter. South shit. And I might throw goddamn syrup on my motherfucking biscuit. I'm in that Oklahoma weird South shit. All right. So Mr. Dubois, treasurer of the East India Company, sent a bag of seed rice to Carolina, which is supposed gave rise to the distinction between red rice and white rice. So it says that he sent a bag of seed rice to Carolina. It doesn't say where he sent it from, but he was from the East India Company. So maybe it came from Asia. But either way, let's keep going. It says, which are both cultivated in that country. I'm assuming East India. It says several years, however, elapsed before the plant. So even right now, it says Madagascar brought some rice, and East India possibly brought some rice, red rice, and the red rice came from East India. I believe so. And that's the little. I guess I don't want to say that's the jollof rice. They do. I guess it's white rice, and they add tomato sauce or something to make it red. So I don't want to say that. So okay. Or maybe it's the red rice they say they use, but I can't remember that. But it says which is cultivated. It says several years elapsed before, however, elapsed before the planters found out that the art of beating and cleaning it to perfection. And the reason why I highlighted that, notice it says several years elapsed before the planters found the art of beating it and cleaning it to perfection. It doesn't say that the Africans did that. It doesn't say anything yet about Africans being here doing this. Right now, they're talking about the volunteers and the people that was doing it themselves. But let's just see. And it says, and the lowest and richest lands were best adapted to the nature of grain. Yet from this period, the colonists preserved it in planting it. And every year brought in greater encouragement. From this small beginning, did the staple commodity of Carolina take its rice, which soon became the chief support of the colony. Again, never did it say anything about anywhere else. Now, do I believe this? Now, maybe some colonists came over and they brought the little white rice or whatever, but wild rice was still grown by us and the Indians already down here. We'll get to it. And it says it's a great source of opulence. Besides provision, the man and the beast, besides the provisions for man and beast, as rice employs a number of hands in trade. It became also a source of naval strength to the nation and of course more beneficial to it than foreign mines of silver and gold. From the success attending the considerable beginning, blah blah blah. So one thing I will note in this book talks heavily about Indian slavery. Okay, in fact, that's the reason why I got to this book. What's the name of this book so I can show y'all? A historical account on the rise and progress of South Carolina, Georgia, or whatever. And really, no, I got here because I wanted to look up the Yamasis actually, and you know how I had to find that. I couldn't. You can't control F and find that because the way the S's are right there, those two S's. So, and I'm just saying that to say, niggas have to literally deep dive and research and find, even when you can't find it through technological, easily, findable methods like a control F to find or a search engine that would find that or something. I had to know which books from which period and land masses to look in that the Yamasis would be in. Know that it wasn't called Alabama, Florida, all that at the time it was called Florida. Look in old Florida books and then look through table of contents to see if I can find some remnants of the word Yamasi that still could not exist. Sometimes it won't even be in the table of contents. You got to go look further down in the book, but that's going to be the first place that I will look. So when I say when I started this and said the American Indians have done hella dope research, you gotta tip your hat, okay? But it was talking about slavery from these as let me see if I can find you some passages of that Indian slavery. And let me see if I can find there's the cover, account South Carolina, Alexander Hewitt. And in fact, how did I get onto this? And that's the Alexander, that Hewitt guy right there, that name right there. How did I find this? I had found it in the newspaper first. Hewitt. And what was it talking about? What was it talking about? Let me give him a little pointer out. He concluded that the best method of defense, go larger, was to capture as many Indians as possible and sell them into slavery. Slavery. Okay. Into the West Indies. I had to find the book once I found it in the newspapers. I said, what? Right? What? Who is Huai? That's what I said. Who is Huai? And I was like, all right, let me look that up. And then your boy found the book. Okay. And as I'm going through the book, I also see the sections about rice. So who did they have enslaved during this time with the rice? Now, don't get me wrong. There was one point in this book where they said that some Negroes were imported. They didn't say that they came from Africa. I don't think they said that they came from Africa in this book. But they did say Negroes that were imported. But when a whole bunch of niggas was there also in that same area, in 1700s. $1700s. The inspection roll of Negroes. A book full of niggas, okay, that were either supposed to be free. Many of them it shows to be free. Some it shows to be supposedly enslaved, but many of them they have their. Come on, dude, why are you playing games with me? Come on. Like it says here, says he was made free by Mr. So it's hard to read. I know I got several things and they let me point. I should take a screenshot and whatever. But says he was made free by somebody named Mr. Moore from York 20 years ago. People talking about when it was made free, whatever. But one main thing to take away, they made a movie about this. I really do need to watch it, but I really don't like watching propaganda. But it will tell you somewhere that it was nearly 3,000 black loyalists who were basically what they explained the Book of Negroes. Even though they want you to think all the Negroes that was here during this particular time were some Africans they brought over for slavery in this same area. But here's a Book of Negroes around the 1700 time, same time frame, where eventually they were from the British side. I think, hold on a second. But it was a British, the British Naval Ledger, black loyalists, and American Revolutions of Canada. But long story short, I gotta remember this. But basically, when the English or whoever they them and the British got into a fight, whoever they lost whatever the fight was, and they ended up They said this is what they said. They said that okay, and let's say British because they say British, and let's say English for the other side, but the other side could have been not English because usually that's the same, but it may be slightly different. But they were fighting somebody. We'll just say English for the sake of it, whatever. So as they said that the British brought these black folks as slaves because they got to throw that on them too, right? You think they're gonna not throw the slave narrative on any nigga story they see? And that's why you should always question anything. But okay, they said that these were slaves brought over with the French. I mean, with the British. And when they got into this skirmish with the English or whoever, the French, it might have been the French. When they got into the skirmish with these folks, the slaves decided to take up arms and help the French, the British. Ain't that what they said about the Civil War? To make up in a reason. Well, y'all was enslaved, and they was coming to unalive your slave masters, and you said, "Let me help my slave master. Get your hands off my slave master." If y'all don't quit playing with me, why would we help somebody fight against unaliving the person that just had us in chains and feeding us gruel and all this other stuff every day, according to y'all? You don't think we'll see some niggas coming that way shooting at our slave master? Be like, hey, nigga, please hand me one of them. I'm with you. Please hand me a gun. Pew pew. Sorry, we're on the TikTok thing too. Right? Doesn't that sound more obvious? Like something that would happen? But what they tell you, or likely is what likely was, is these black people were not slaves. They were your original black Britons. Think about that. Maybe there were no YTs with them at all. Think about that. It's called the Book of Negroes. Why would they just transport out all the Negroes on one boat from Britain? If they were fighting with the Britain YTs together, how come they don't go all out together after those wars as they all got excommunicated out of there? Sounds like you're getting rid of the Black Britons that might have came over here after their initial push from Grenada. They sent Black Britons to Sierra Leone. Want to see? Sierra Leone was founded in 1787. It's right around the same time frame. The Book of Negroes, late 1780s, 90s. Thousands of Negroes, Britons, not British. 1787, they also sending some Britons to Sierra Leone. I don't think they have anything to do with each other. But what they say is the Black Britons that they sent from America were sent to Nova Scotia, Canada. 3,000 of them or more, right? So what I'm getting to, because we're getting back on the Gullah Rice thing, because I'll be getting off into the weeds. Back down. Oh, that's what I was like, what was I gonna say? What was I explaining? So when this book discusses slave labor, if it ever does, when it does, oh, here's that page. I was like, where'd that page go? If the book ever discusses slave labor, you have to question which is it? Is it and they talk about YT slavery from wars of folks that go back and forth, like the French and the Spaniards as well. So you got to question, if they say slave, is this an Indian? Is this a YT? Is this a Black Briton? Are there any Africans there? These niggas had choice picks of all kind of motherfuckers to enslave. Why do you need to go all the way to Africa? All right. So let's go further on this rice thing. But the rice, as we see, was your rice cultivation. If you were to Google it, how did rice start in the Low Country? It's going to say rice cultivation began in the Low Country in the 17th century, 1600s, driven by the expertise of enslaved West Africans and the demand for a cash crop by Europeans. Driven by the expertise, even though we just read books that said, hey, these experiments were done by people who didn't have to click clack to make their names. That's not what they had to do. Let's see what y'all been saying over here. Let me make sure I was on the wrong screen. Okay. So Woke again said, do you think this is why they brought and enslaved Asians for rice farm purposes? Oh, I didn't think about that. They don't talk about that, but that could have happened on the other side, on the California coast side. More of them Asians hit that side than this side, but I can see it. I can understand it. You said, what's that paper? I have to go back and show you that more. Exactly. Wow. I always have her know you saying my name when you saying who it, right? You said, hello, fabulous mothers can't read or comprehend, so we You said, I always have her know you saying my name when you saying who. Oh, who what sounds like crew what. All right, again, I was like, what is you saying, crew what? I did say who what. Funny. The relations with the Caribbean and South Americans. With Jeremiah C. British Commonwealth something. Noah said, this what I say research is art. Yep. It takes skill from you. Oh yeah, I read that. Okay. I'm up far enough on that one. Let me go back down. Says right, they be tripping with that lie. You know that, DG. Brit Times, of course. You already know. Laugh my butt off. Let me find out. That's why in Tyler Perry's Black Hamptons, they last names were Britons. What? I ain't watched that. That's wild. And see, they be dropping shit in, and you already know they be dropping shit in films on purpose. She said, you told no lies there. No. Guyana, British Commonwealth, Wale had the rice on the east. Yeah. We're about to get into some of these folks. No, you cool, right? Okay. So yeah, if you look it up like that, that's now on here. When you read about it, it says somewhat a similar story. In the 18th century, rice became a major cash crop of the Low Country and would continue to dominate coastal South Carolina's economy into the 19th century, 1800s. Rice was first domesticated in Asia. So now, kind of starting to, even over here is telling you it was first domesticated in Asia, even though it was in the Americas too, wild rice. But it didn't say Africa. Didn't say Africa. All right. Several thousand years earlier, then spread to Eurasia and Africa. So exactly what I said. Africa didn't have this long time ingenuity, agriculture, this shit. Lying ass niggas. These niggas had to get it from Asia too. All right. Just like they lying about the indigo. They trying to Africanize everything, bringing it back full circle to why I started this whole live stream of them stealing the indigo talking points. It says, and finally arrived in the Americas with the Columbian Exchange in the 16th century, 1500s. They said the Columbian Exchange, 1500s. They said the other thing said they didn't bring that seed of bag rice till around the 1700s. Can't keep their story straight. Y'all got to keep digging. You got to look more further before y'all come up with these stories. All right. And finally arrived in the Americas for the Columbian Exchange in the 16th and 17th centuries. After rice grains came to the Carolinas in the late 17th century, late 1600s, that ain't what that book said. That said that nigga brought a bag of rice from Madagascar around them 17s. But okay. Enslaved West Africans in Carolina from rice growing plantations in the 1600s. Y'all realize hardly wasn't nobody, any Africans, period, especially the 1600s. But okay. From rice growing regions, most likely grew rice. Most likely. I'm gonna need y'all to get your stories to a more definite. But okay, grew rice from substances of food. It was not until the 18th century, 1700s, that Carolina planters had amassed the local capital, enslaved labor force, economic entrepreneurship, and plantation cultivation systems to support a major rice export industry. Now you're talking about the late 1700s when really they said it took a few years. They gave a nigga some bag of rice. Took a few years, got the little process down. Okay, all right. And as you see, this shows us no sources on where they got this information. They could easily type in the source, or after everything they say. It says, please educate children all day, every day. There was slaves from Hindustan in the southeast. Perhaps they brought rice. Now you're right. I actually got photographs of some Hindustan looking motherfuckers claiming to be Seminole. Yeah. Claiming to be Seminole. So major rice before the 1720s or whatever. Right? So that even they say it started in Asia and then spread to Africa. That's pretty much the same thing. Now let's pull up these videos and go into what they say in some of these videos. I was also just gonna show Hindustan. Oh yeah, the Hindustan person. Let me show y'all that. Now I got photographs of a lot of melanated looking Indian Seminoles, but in this photograph, you got these Seminoles. What do you think that guy is right there? He don't look like me. He got my nose is big, but not as big as his. He got a little bit bigger nose. Why does he have that hat on? Right? Ears bigger than Will Smith, about 3 times the size of Will Smith. Okay. You also have Mr. Spaniard. He's there too, claiming, right? So the ears right here, Ottomans, exactly. Mm-hmm. And even this Spaniard is nothing but an Arab white tea mixed down person, right? Likely an Arab. I didn't think I couldn't figure out before, but likely an Arab. He's got the turban. He's got the whole turban. They get over here and they can't shake their culture. You know, they get over here. They say, "Look, I understand I'm supposed to be over here acting like an Indian, but I just really love my turbans. I just really love my turbans." And that's no different than I got some Spaniards who ended up joining into the Indian schools, and in one of the Indian school yearbooks, you got Spaniards dressed up like a mariachi band, and you got to think like, let me show you this, and I got to show you that. So, and then this is Mr. Wong. He was there. Yeah, these were Seminoles. Your red Seminoles. The other one was black. These are your red, unless these are supposed to be Siberians. These aren't Siberians. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We see what these people look like, right? Let me show you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, what was I gonna show you? Them niggas looking like a mariachi band in the Indian school book. It's like you can't shake the culture, can you? Somebody just gotta. You still gotta make a burrito. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm here on the Indian plantation, and y'all brought us in as Mexicans to be at the Indian school to cosplay, but I sure would go for a chimichanga right now. Okay, I really got to make that. Why do you cook tacos every day, nigga? That's not the culture. It's not the fucking culture, man. Get your goddamn green onions out of here. Not green onions. What do you call it? Your cilantro. Get your goddamn cilantro out of here. God damn it. Where is it at? Where is it at? No shade to cilantro. I do like cilantro. Oh man, I must be passing it. Let me make this bigger. My eyes must be passing it. Where you at? Where the mariachi band at, man? Where the hell is y'all at? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Okay. Here you go. Okay. 2020. 1922. Indian looking folks. I mean, not Indian. Hispanic looking folks with our names like Brown and Chavez. Not really. Chavez could be one of our Creole names. White Crest. People that look like this in school, in the Indian school. Don't they look like a row of the same nigga? Don't they look like a row of the same nigga? Like, nigga, hold on, man. Y'all ain't got no kind of diversity in your gene pool, nigga. It is clone central, nigga. Clones, nigga. Attack of the fucking clones, nigga. Attack of the fucking goddamn clones, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga. You tell me these niggas is not cloned. Hell yeah. So these niggas ain't copied out, nigga. Shit. But also, they couldn't help themselves to get back to what they know. I can't do it. Okay, I can't do it. I can never do it. Okay. He's looking at him like, play that tune, nigga. Look how slick that hair, that them furs is. Boy, they can slick that fur something nice, boy. They can slick that fur back something nice. Okay. But that's not what the Indians was doing. I'm just I'm just toss that out there. Even the outfits, you know what I'm saying? They're not a traditional Indian outfit, guy. It's not a traditional Indian outfit, my guy. Those shirts are a little shiny. Don't get me wrong. Would I wear a shiny shirt? I'll tell you this. I bought a pair of pants that I bought online that had this shine to them. I didn't wear them when I got them in person. I was like, I take that. I wore them once, and I felt like I was doing myself a disservice. Is that what you say? When I wore it, like it was like a man's attire shouldn't be this shiny. Okay, your women, that's fine. I mean, okay. Anyways, now back in the 70s and 80s and stuff, when we was doing the whole disco era, niggas was shined up. I understand it was something new, but that's what they were doing. Okay, now let's move past all that and get back to the right shit, because this is about erasure, and we're gonna get back to the right shit. I'm gonna toss up something while I do that. We'll toss up this book cover while I do that. Now let me find my little what you call it here. Let's see which one we're gonna play first.
Entertain us, but this conversation be coming up at least.
Let's do this one.
And is perfect for pilaf or biryani. And what about wild rice? Well, the name can be a bit of a misnomer. The wild rice you find in stores technically isn't rice at all. It's an entirely different grass species called Zizania palustris. This grain is native to North America and historically has played a crucial role in the diets and cultural practices of the Anishinaabe people, including the Ojibwe. The Ojibwe still harvest truly wild Zizania by hand in lakes and rivers.
Does that nigga look like he's really out there doing some right shit? When I show you people really out here doing some right shit, and they might, I don't know, man, he might be doing something small, but I don't trust them niggas. But I didn't mean to play that one first, but since you started playing, we was playing. Go ahead and shows that they do admit that wild rice was here in North America growing, and people was eating it. Okay, and they could have kept eating it, but y'all know they got to bring in that inferior rice. Because think about it, white rice is not good for you like that. It's decent. It's okay for you. Don't get me wrong. Brown rice is better for you. Okay, it's got a lot more grains, a lot more things in it. The darker it is, the more chemicals inside of it. The darker it is, the more minerals are inside of it. The more minerals inside of it, the more minerals go inside of you. Iron minerals, phosphate minerals, whatever minerals. Black rice, the darkest of them all, full of minerals, which is why you have to pay extra for it. And the reason why they don't grow it and they give you the white rice, they want you to eat the inferior shit on purpose. You think they couldn't just give you the black rice at the same prices and grow it in mass like the white rice? Of course they could. Right? Of course they could. But okay, let's keep going. Let me show you something like this. Uncle said fiber, got a lot of fiber in there. I didn't know that. I need to go buy me some today because I've been getting more fiber in my diet. An apple a day. They say keep a doctor away. An apple will give you some fiber too. So I've been eating me some good apples. I always eat my apples with a banana. I use a banana as a sweetener now, and I realized that from smoothies. Like all these smoothie places add bananas. Sweet, right? You can either add that, you can add apple juice for sweetener, but apple juice is going to be a lot more sugar with compared to getting it directly from the plant. The reason why you usually want it more from the plant is because you're digesting all the things that come with the juice as well, because what's inside of that juice, inside of that apple, is fiber, like Uncle was just saying, and other minerals, which makes it harden, which makes that juice into a hardened thing. And when you intake that, it can digest its chemical compounds along with it. Now, if you ingest sugar by itself, like some apple derived sugar, some cane sugar, or anything, and you put that by itself, typically nature pairs sugar up with some kind of juice in a sense, right? As well as other compounds chemically. When you intake that, this kind of goes into the whole diabetes thing. When you intake that sugar by itself without the fruit, your body has to make up for the saturation of the sugar to dissolve it to digest it. Meaning it's taking water and things out of you to saturate it. Nature saturated the sugar within the fruit already. So as you eat it, I got this from Dr. Leala Africa. I think it was him. As you eat it, you have enough in there to saturate it and go down without your body having to be depleted of the minerals and things inside of yourself to do it. The more you keep eating sugar like that, and you keep depleting your minerals and all this other stuff, and I think it has to do with your, with the whole glucose, all that, whatever. But eventually you go into diabetes. But anyway, let me get off of that. So, but yeah, so let me get to another video, local video.
And it's perfect.
6 tidal flow rivers that flow through Georgetown County. 5 of those rivers actually flow through the city. So enslaved Africans and enslaved rice growers came with tools, they came with technology, they came with expertise, they came with the knowledge of the agriculture of rice. Enslaved rice growers came with tools.
Enslaved rice growers came with tools. Where the hell you have a tool at? You came with tools? Niggas just be adding on to the story. I swear, because when these people, it's almost like when somebody gives these people an assignment and they say, hey, we need you to tell a story about this rice. And they go do their shit, they go do their research. It's almost like they gotta, okay, wait a minute. I gotta somehow put my flavor on it. Yeah, okay, so Africans came, and the knowledge in their mind was like the tools that they needed. Like their hands was used to dig into the ground like tools. And without these modern agricultural tools, because they got to come up with something long to call it. Without these modern agricultural industry made tools, mechanics, they wouldn't even get the mechanics down and it's like, man, if y'all don't quit adding to the story, man. First of all, just tell me what happened. Adding your extras in, that's how the game of telephone fucks shit up. Cause you don't tell it exactly the way, and you add into it because you're trying to get your little shine on. Somebody done put your ugly ass on camera. I wouldn't call her ugly. I would give her grace if she wasn't lying on camera and erasing our history. I understand she's a woman. I would give her grace, and she's an elder of some sort. I would give grace to those who are not publicly lying on camera for money. And maybe you didn't get paid. You just got the clout. Whatever it was, you're lying. Just like I talk shit about Queen Quet, talking about Geechee come from Kesey. Bitch been around the old Geechee River all her life. And ignoring the whole fact that that's where the name came from. You got paid for that talking point. And that's why you get called a bitch. Because it's erasure to my people. And you put yourself on that motherfucking side. That's a demonic ass thing to do. All right, let me get out of my goddamn feelings. So yeah, let me just keep playing.
They came with technology, they came with expertise, they came with the knowledge of the agriculture of rice growing, and all of those things came with them. So they may
No,
have
let me put it
expertise.
in.
They came with expertise. They
Hold
came
up.
with tools. They came with technology.
What technology? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Bitch, you couldn't stop at tools? Technology, 1700s? The word technology wasn't even around in 1700s like that. Fucking find me the word technology in a book in 1700s. God damn. Quit adding on to the story. You're making it worse. Nigga, all these white folks got to do is give you a little piece of story. Y'all niggas gonna add the world to it. Thought somebody into my God damn. Let me.
Growers came with tools. They came with technology. They came with.
Look at how her head is shaking. Dude, that's how you can tell it's her shit. They came with the tools, nigga. Came with the technology, nigga. And with the rest of it, nigga. Look at it. I didn't even notice that. Oh, bitch.
Africans and enslaved rice growers came with tools. They came with technology. They came with expertise.
Y'all see it? Y'all probably didn't see it until I pointed this shit out. Tools came with the technology. Take your old ass home and get some Geritol, man. Oh, god damn. And take that straw hat the fuck off.
Oh, enslaved Africans and enslaved rice growers came with tools. They came with technology. They came with expertise. They came with the knowledge of.
Bitch said they came with the expertise, the knowledge, the know-how, the brains, the understanding. Bitch, that's the same thing 5 times. You sounding like goddamn Simon right now. Y'all know Simon Platinum on these apps. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I gotta get at your ass, Simon. That nigga was on there earlier. That nigga said the same thing 10 times. Y'all know his MO. Negro, black, and freemen are not synonymous because Negro, black, and freemen are not synonymous. And I think y'all thinking about that Negro, black, and freemen is synonymous, man. I've been telling y'all. I've been telling y'all the Negro, black, and freeman is not synonymous. Okay, y'all been acting like y'all Africans and things coming around, acting like you using Negro, black, and freeman synonymously, but Negro, black, and freeman is not synonymous. And I'm never gonna land this plane because Negro, black, and freeman is not synonymous. Nigga, shut the fuck up. That's me on the other end. You only see my motherfucking avatar, but I'm shaking that motherfucking phone like, stop! I was counting that shit last time today. I was counting that nigga today. I ain't gonna lie. I was on crew cut this morning. That nigga said that. I was like 1. Brown and nigga 2. Brown nigga for 3. I literally was sitting there counting. 10 times I counted. Okay. I understand when you've repeated yourself and passed the goddamn mic sometimes. All right. God damn. All right. Anyway. But yeah, that's me. Yeah. All right. I'm just talking my shit. Talking shit. But okay. Let's continue. And also, Simon's kind of somewhat on that whole thing because the word freedman is erasure too, but that's a whole nother story. But okay.
Of the agriculture of rice growing, and all of those things came with them. So they may have come empty-handed, but they did not come empty-minded. So tidal flow method of irrigation was the technology of the time to irrigate your rice fields. So the tidal flow method of irrigation depended upon.
All right. So as you can see, even more so lying about the story. You don't find no technology and all this other stuff, and everything's being contributed to Africans. Let me pull up another one here.
The history of rice cultivation is The history of rice cultivation is a subject of study and debate. But today, most experts agree that the story of domesticated rice first began in China around 9,000 years ago, specifically in the Yangtze River.
China, it started in China. It's just like your boy what's that Trump say it was in China. Okay, so Africa claiming any African claiming rice, telling you you claim you erasing Chinese history, Playboy.
River Valley. From China, it first spread southward and eastward to other parts of Asia, and eventually westward through the Silk Road and maritime trade routes along the Red Sea and Mediterranean.
Now, notice that, Woke and Gator said they always add to the story. Uncle said, wait, they came with tools and empty-handed. Yeah, they came with tools and technology when they was butt naked on their ass. I don't know where they hid the tools at. Must have been in their ass. And the rice was hidden in their hair. The expertise, it wasn't in their brain. You can't put too much in there. But let's... As you can see, Asia's going on with it right there. And then it spread over. Notice how it spread over. Notice how it spread over and it didn't show it spreading over into Africa yet. It spread it over all the way to the right side and to the Philippines. Didn't spread to Africa. So when you see this, and again, they went to get it. They went to get it off the coast of Madagascar, which is down there at the south of Africa. They didn't go to the other side of Africa to get it. So this right here completely obliterates any African talking about they having African know-how, African knowledge, or even bringing any kind of rice over here whatsoever. So these modern talking points are just really crazy. Let's keep going.
Species of rice is often referred to as Asian rice, but it's more.
More. That's what I was saying too. She said Madagascar may have gotten rice before mainland Africa. Exactly, because it was closer. They could have just sailed right there to there and then brought it into Africa. Meaning it would have came into the east coast of Africa, not the west, where they were supposedly bringing niggas. Right? They was bringing niggas from the west. So where did they get this African know-how? I mean, there's rice technology and know-how and brains. That shit is all of it's being debunked. Let me read it over here from the YouTube fam. Says Joe Law said, "What the heck is even Joe Law? What's a first-class citizen?" They said they got the tomatoes from us in the first place. Exactly, and the rice came from Asia, so there ain't nothing original seeming like it's coming from that bitch, but dust. They're the ones that they made a blue dust around the world. Whole dust bowl probably from them. But they got them to we was eating rice before jollof was even invented. Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's keep going.
Formerly known as Oryza sativa. It accounts to other parts of Asia and eventually westward through the Silk Road and maritime trade routes along the Red Sea and Mediterranean. This species of rice is
They didn't even say shit about Africa. They said shit about Mediterranean, everywhere else.
Often referred to as Asian rice, but it's more formally known as Oryza sativa. It accounts for most of the rice produced today, but it's not the only species of domesticated rice. While Oryza sativa was spreading across Asia, an entirely different species of rice was being domesticated in Africa. Experts believe that this species, known as Oryza glaberrima,
I forgot they did say this one. They said this was domesticated later, but we'll listen to it.
Was first domesticated about 3,000 years ago in the Inner Niger Delta in modern day
We'll give them that little bit right there if they want to get that.
Mali. Although more recent studies suggest that regions further west.
And to be honest, I really wonder why it wasn't talked about so prevalently before. Again, sometimes you have to make up a story because you've already made up too many stories. What do I mean by that? If they know they've been giving away this story about rice, people being brought over here from Sierra Leone, Africa to this way, How do we know it didn't happen the other way around that we brought it over there? In fact, we can show proof of Indians being sent over to Africa, which could easily prove that it got over there. But they're trying to give them this story from 3,000 years ago, not showing any kind of proof and just kind of saying it, whatever. Okay, if I accept the Asian thing, I'll accept this to a degree, but I do also realize the bias and the things that y'all try to do with coming up with a story. You had to come up with some story that they came up with this, but okay, let's keep going. I'm not against anything. That's why people who fuck with me is because I'm not afraid to get debunked. I'm not afraid to find the right information to debunk myself. If I was, I just don't believe this though. At the same time, but let's keep going.
Also played an important role. When the Portuguese began colonizing Africa, they brought Asian rice to the continent, and over
Ooh, but that, hold up. Oh, they brought Asian rice to the continent. Okay.
over time, it began to supplant African rice production, most likely because it provided a higher crop yield. Today,
So you're telling me that the African rice isn't really used like that? You just really kind of made up in this, like, they really just kind of made a story happen that maybe you can't even verify. What do I mean by that? Like, they're like, well, hey, Africa did have some rice, but what happened was the Portuguese brought some of that Asian rice down and it took over the other rice, so now, it's just the same rice all the way around and they brought it over from there. So you don't really see the African rice. Wait a minute, but they was cultivating it for 3,000 years. Wouldn't they say, okay, well, we'll keep doing this because we really do like this rice, but we'll fuck with your white rice too? Because we do that here in America. We still got wild rice. You can still get it at the store. Well, this is Africa, we had to change it up, we went to the white rice, the Portuguese, it just happened. We don't know what happened to the rest. Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue with the story. I got questions about it, but we'll continue.
Oryza glaberrima only accounts for a small percentage of rice produced in Africa, but it remains an important ritual crop for followers of Awasana, the traditional
They say they got a little bit left. They say they got a little bit.
religion of the Jola people. When compared
Now think about that. Listen to that.
for followers of Awasana, the traditional religion of the Jola people.
The traditional religion of the Jola people. Is this where they're trying to say Jollof comes from? Are they making this shit up as they go? And the reason why I said I think they might be making shit up like this as they go, even like I feel like white folks come out there and name tribes names and make fun, is because the whole Ngola and Gullah connection is like they went out there and they found oh look, we found a random tribe out here and they're called Ngolas. Yeah, that's very similar to that Gullah. Oh, you just so happen to find that. You just wandering around, dusty ass, uncivilized ass, nowhere to find out where you going ass, no electricity having ass Africa, all for several months, talking to several tribes of niggas until you randomly found you an Ngola tribe and was like, you know what, I that's very similar to the Gullah folk back in America, huh? I think I found a connection. Similar to the story on man, if y'all don't believe me, hold on, man. Y'all don't believe me. These motherfuckers would do that shit, dude. I know y'all believe me, y'all my folks, but let me see if I can find it. So basically, as I go way up here, because it's way up there. I'm almost done with my little gas. Basically, this was like a documentary clip. Here we go. Might be one of these. They were like, yeah, man, we just so happened to. I think this is the old one. Hold on. No, this might be it.
No. This is the first one, or the is this the This is the first one or the second one? um, Give me just another second, man. If I don't find it in the next couple scrolls, you know me, I'm moving on. Here it is. Boy, I'm gonna bust their ass when I do a documentary right there. Yeah, right here. Right here. I'm gonna have to let me send this over to my iPad. I mean to my MacBook. He said, I recall the chief apologizing for his people in the West who were slaves look confused. So we're not eating African rice. Nah, it definitely would be Asian rice. Uh Definitely would be Asian rice, which is pretty crazy because they're gonna tell you it's Africans. It's our ingenuity, the African know-how, the African the African this, the African that. Ma'am, I thought y'all said y'all got that from Asia. It came from Africa though first. No, it says it came from Asia though first. Well, what you didn't get it after that. They just gonna make up excuses and get mad at your ass. Whoops. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Let me find the file. Whoops. Forgot I was off of that motherfucker. Right here.
We
played the song.
an anthropologist, a ethnomusicologist, and a linguist looking for this song. And in 1990, we got into a car and we went all around Mende country playing the song in each village we came to.
So, as you heard in preface, what he's saying, they were trying to. This is that whole famous. We're trying to find a connection to Sierra Leone, and there's this song we found in the government archives of some random Geechee lady singing a song. Well, you know what? Let me take this song all around Sierra Leone because that's the only place we pick people up from, even though we admit we pick people up from different places in Africa and it was all over and whatever. But we're going to find the one place that we trying to connect to the Geechee people because we need these connections. And we're going to go search and find and see if anybody knows this song. Okay, that's okay. All right. Seems pretty stupid, but okay. All right.
We sat down with people of mostly older people who might still remember, and we heard long tales of their past. But each time we played the song, we couldn't find anyone who really recognized it. They would recognize one or two Mende words, but never the song.
That's the face of somebody that's like, bitch, what the hell? This ain't no goddamn Sierra Leone song. That's what that look is. Or really, it's the look of hunger. When you gonna turn it off and give me some of that jollof rice you said you was promising us when we sat down here for this camera? That's what it looked like. You promised us bags of rice if we sit down here and listen to this bullshit. But okay.
We were disappointed. Village after village after village, people said, well, yes, there's Mende in that song, but we don't know that particular song.
Now, they didn't have a translator there with a person there speaking Mende saying this on camera that I can recognize some of those words. Because that way, even if I don't know what that nigga is saying, at least if I really wanted to check it,
I can find some nigga that know it, or maybe hold up Google Translate or something and let it record it and see if he's really saying that. But no, it's just a white T dude, Mr. Opala, who's trying to drive in his talking point, telling you that the people said they heard Mende words in there. Ain't nobody say that though. They look like they hungry.
After covering the entire Pujun district, the tired and disappointed researchers began to think the song was lost forever and decided to call off their search.
They searched the entire Punjab district. And they done went to tribe after tribe after tribe. They almost died. They wasn't even gonna finish. They was trying to drive home a point that wasn't even. They wasn't even gonna finish. And if you don't think I'm telling the truth, I'm gonna show you why I know they're trying to do that. How I know they bullshit. But yeah, they didn't know where else to go. Where else could they possibly find more tribes?
However, some weeks later, Cynthia Schmidt took up her tape recorder once again and decided to try her luck in Senihungola, a small village they had in.
Oh shit, Ungola. I forgot to go to the place. I completely forgot. Watch. Where is it at? I just had that bitch up to right there. Now, never mind on another documentary made about the Geechees prior to this one. I think it was prior. I think this one was prior. Yeah, because they didn't. I'm pretty sure this was prior because they was talking about the song Connect. I'm pretty sure this was prior. But either way, even if, because I'm gonna show you something else, even if they didn't know this, somebody knew that they was trying to tie Angola area, Sierra Leone, back to this already. But they didn't look here, okay? They didn't think to look here. Now, also, as these people got paid to do research and make a documentary and get paid to fly to Africa and do all this researching for weeks, wonder how much money they racked up. But or no, it's Gola. What is it? Only searching within here? What's happening? It might be in my phone. Oh, no, that might be it right there. Now, here's one receipt. It says Gola from Gola. As you can see, Golah. They just added the H on there in a newspaper back in 1858, talking about the Gullah Negroes were from Gola. Now, don't get me wrong. I did find a couple of things that say that there are a few people who boats have came over on things that I can say that possibly came from Sierra Leone through an account book by one of these fools. I got their little account book, one of these little accounting books, whatever, that they have in their little files. So it being talked about isn't a big shock to me. I even got like one newspaper clip, one or two. That actually I just got one that talks about a cargo of Negroes from Gullah or Gola. Let me see if I can find that one. Showing up. That one might be on my phone. But what I'm establishing is the fact that it's not hard for them to know. They're not embellishing. They're just acting all extra with the story. Like, you gonna tell me the place that's been listed all these times, and you even got to list it. Actually, they got to let me throw that over here. I forgot about that. It was in the goddamn Africanisms book, and that book was damn sure written before that fucking bullshit ass documentary they did. We didn't know to go there. How could we have known? We almost called the shit off. Bitch, shut up. Shut up. God damn, y'all's extra with it. Angola. That didn't work. That was another one I wanted to find, but let me show you this. Damn it, I sent it to the wrong thing. I did send it to the wrong thing. I'll show you this. So in the Lorenzo Dow Turner, whoops, we'll do this. So in the Lorenzo Dow Turner Africanisms of the Gullah dialect, that was like in like 1950 something. You can see here they got Gullah, a distinct language dialect spoken by the Negroes on the coast of South Carolina and Georgia, one who speaks Gullah. And over here it says Gola, Gola. Okay, a Liberian tribe. And see, they said then it was a Liberian tribe. Now they found these niggas in Sierra Leone. You see, when you're not telling the truth, the story's not going to keep matching all the time, especially if you're not reading what the last person did. That's the problem with the truth. If you're not, with a lie, that's the problem with the lie, especially public lies that over major topics that multiple people will be writing about. Because now all of y'all got to tell the same thing. See, when something happens down the street on 23rd Street, something, and somebody pew somebody, you're going to typically hear the same story on every news about what happened. There might be a slight variation based upon whatever information they got there, based upon the time they got there, whatever the case may be. But typically, you're going to hear a good outline of the story of what happened and what the way it happened. But when you're lying over and over and over again, especially through multiple years in time, you're bound to fuck up on your lie. And yeah, they and also right here it says a tribe of the Hamba Basin in Angola. Well, Sierra Leone ain't in there. So you got a Gola tribe in Liberia, a Gola tribe in Angola, which makes a little bit more sense since it's Angola. And then you telling me there's an Angola in Sierra Leone. I'm starting to get the idea that you can play me for a fool because unless I fly my ass over to Africa, rummage my ass through the motherfucking woods, and find this Gola tribe myself, I can never verify it. There's thousands of tribes in Africa. It's 3001 now. It's 3002 now, bitch. Just add one in. You think we can't find an African over there to accept it? Are you a Gola? Yes, me Gola. Yes. They looking down at that bag of rice. Yes, me Gola. Lying ass niggas. As much as they get on here and lie, you think these niggas want to assume whatever these white folks tell them? These niggas are crawl down a goddamn fucking mine with barefooted, nigga. They'll send their 13-year-old child in a mine barefoot, hungry. Nigga, you think they won't accept something else for that nigga? They ain't got to go to the mine today. Hell yeah, they a goaler for the day. Nigga ain't got to go to the mine. Nigga just gave a nigga a couple eggs. I'm good till tomorrow. Nigga said I'm good all week. I got 2 eggs. I can make it through. I'm Gullah Geechee, nigga. Oh boy. It's sad. It's sad, the lies. And again, you can't verify. So Gullah tribes are in Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Angola.
wherever the fuck we decide. And we also will finish this video though. Also,
because it was just outside the borders of Pujun.
we also just forgot about it when we was going over there looking to search for people to play the song to too. What, that Gola area? Where's that? I never heard of it. You said that's where Gullah comes from? I wouldn't have even looked at that on the map. Stupid bitch. All right, let's keep going.
Pujun district, the tired and disappointed researchers began to think the song was lost forever and decided to call off their search. However, some weeks later, Cynthia Schmidt took up her tape recorder once again and decided to try her luck in Senihumgola, a small village they hadn't visited before because it was just outside the borders of Pujun.
Oh, we didn't go because it was just like right outside. Yeah, you got to go there to find that.
That evening we sat down with the tape recorder and I explained the story to them and they were listening with complete attention, very, very carefully. And as I began to play the recording.
Notice she's telling this story. Let me tell you what happened, guys. Just go with me. I was playing the song, okay? Right? The little nigga, I mean, the people came from around there. The flip-flops was just a flopping. Okay, I can't, that's too much. Okay, let me go.
To my astonishment, these women began to sing along. And one woman in particular, her name was Bindu Jabati, the head woman.
Didn't I tell y'all they look hungry and mad? We've seen this before. Some of y'all seen this before already. Some of you haven't. And this song sounds nothing like the song they played. Because you know what? You got to think about it. Okay, I'll laugh and just think about it. Okay, hold on. This white lady, sat there because y'all know they try to copy all our music and everything we do, but they can never get it right? This white lady sat there, played this song for them back and forth over and over again, hoping these bitches would pick it up. And at some point, she was like, okay, look, just go with it. Just, God damn it, that sounds close enough. Just go with the shit. And it sounds nothing like it. And you would think, like, as soon as I hear the song, and I could go back to the song, but it goes like, how does it go? Come by the alley, lily, some. But that main part is the come by the alley, lily. Right? I can do it easily. When you hear it, you should be able to do it easily. Goddamn it, a 4-year-old can do that. A goddamn 4-year-old can do that. We do it all the time with him during goddamn Christmas season. Jesus, let me do. Get on up there. You know this. Make your mama proud. Get indoctrinated. But a 4-year-old can do it. You couldn't even get these niggas to repeat the song correctly for the documentary. Bitch, that's what you heard? That's what you heard? Hold on, let's try this again. Come by the alley, lily. Ma'am. I got it. We need something for these ears. We need to dig something out these ears. That's what we need. You can't be hearing what I'm hearing. You cannot be hearing it. It's got to be some frequency blockers. Something. Ma'am, all three of y'all heard this? And sung along together? Okay, let's listen.
Attention, very, very carefully.
And that's the best this white bitch can find.
This is how you know they ain't creating no music genres.
And as I began to play the recording, to my astonishment, these women began to sing along. And one woman in particular, her name was Bindu Jabati, the head woman. She sang along with the first phrase, Awaka Maloma, which means everybody come, everyone come together.
Bitch, that's not what was said in the song.
Kambe Yale. The grave is restless. The grave is not yet at peace. And this was the same meaning as the same song that we heard recorded in 1931 by Lorenzo Turner.
The same Lorenzo Turner that wrote this book. Even further letting you know that they knew the fucking Gola.
So I asked her to talk about the song. This was an extraordinary moment for me. I asked her to talk about it, and she said that she had learned it from her grandmother.
Bitch can be talking about anything. And they just put the words up there. She said her grandma said she probably cussing their ass out because niggas ain't gave her that bag of rice. You told me I should get the bag of rice. Bitch mad in the motherfucker. They say use that. We can use that. You telling me this? That bitch is explaining a story about something peaceful and magical or something. This bitch looks like she better take y'all head off if y'all don't give up what you're supposed to be giving up. Okay, look at that face. It's a hungry face. But that shit don't make no sense.
One day she had asked her grandmother about the song. What is that song that you're singing? And the grandmother said, this is a song that I
told you said 3 bags. Her grandmother explained to her as a child. Hopefully none of these niggas watching this speaks Shin Angolan. You know none of these niggas watching this speak that shit. Okay? That's why you put this shit up here. Find some random far off ass nigga with flip flops on in the dust to yell at your ass and tell us what they say.
remember our ancestors by. This is the song that I sing to remember my late husband, to remember my mother, to remember my father. And she said that that song was a song that they sang at their burials, and that was associated with a very, very important ceremony. And this ceremony was very special to Mendi people.
They realized they couldn't let the African keep talking. She looks a little mean, so they put the white lady on there even more. So just get me on here. I'll explain it. she was so amazing. It was a magical moment. Okay, you need something for this documentary. So yeah, man, y'all. You can't trust these fools whatsoever. Let me remove that. I don't think I even need that right now. And as far as this goes, you gotta love the little. You gotta love the my little fireplace behind me. It definitely gives an extra good feel to the background.
don't think. Hold on. Oh yeah, there was another video I wanted to show of a real Geechee and rice. Local video.
The history of in 1680, similar legend.
Where is it at? Here it is. Here it is.
And what kind of rice is this that you decided to grow here?
Oh, Carolina Gold. It's supposed to be one of the native rice of here. You know, none of them really native, but they were brought here, but this one of the rice that came here too. Then also they had another wild rice that everybody just always had a patch of rice in their field, in the yard. Oh,
Listen to that again. Listen to this again. Real Geechee.
Decided to grow here.
Oh, Carolina Gold. It's supposed to be one of the native rice of here.
He's speaking Geechee, a patois influenced English. Patois is like English. I mean, French influenced English, whatever. Caribbean influenced English, my bad, whatever. But he says the Carolina Gold, this was brought here. He knew that. He said that. Listen.
You know, none of them really native, but they were brought.
You know, none of them really been native.
Brought here, but this.
They've been brought here.
One of the rice that came here too.
But this was one of the rices they came here too. Knowledge passed down like that.
Then also they had another wild rice.
Then also they have another wild rice.
That everybody just always had a patch of rice in their field.
Everybody always has about a patch of wild rice in their field. Ain't that amazing? That's why I love my folks. Appreciate all the gifts y'all have been seeing the gifts. I know y'all been throwing gifts. Let me go through the gifts real quick and say my appreciation. Smooth, appreciate the gifts you've been giving out there. Chief Michael, appreciate the gifts. Truth 510, appreciate the hard me gift. Divine number 10, appreciate divine number 9. I'm sorry, I added another digit to you. I'm sorry, fucking up your divineness. Appreciate the gifts. Mendorla, appreciate the gift. Jimbo, appreciate you. Slick Vic, appreciate you. Epiphany, appreciate it. Matt Airlock, appreciate that. Meta Healer, appreciate you. And I think I'm kind of all the way up. Alicia Faye, appreciate you. I think I'm all the way up to the top. But as y'all saw, he knows the difference between, we still know the difference between the type of rice. Yeah, so Samuel, how did they smuggle the fruits here, putting it in under their tongues? And it didn't spoil, even though anything under the titties of an African was spoiled instantly, nigga. Instantly spoiled. I ain't never smelled up under there. No shot. Just think about it like y'all know, like somebody ain't one of them folds of the body that ain't been cleaned in a long time, what done accumulated in them folds. And then them African niggas will get over there and start licking on it like they don't care, like they don't even know that. That's why foreplay is not existing over there like that. I heard they don't be going down on the women. I do every time. I heard they don't be going down on the women like that. And you know what? I can understand if it's got to have some smells and some taste that you probably don't want to deal with. That's why they probably cut y'all off. Cause they like, look, they don't even want you asking for it. They gonna snip you early, nigga. Don't even ask me to do this. That's fucked up. What's up, Tabitha? Don't even ask me. God damn it. We're gonna take care of you now.
because I don't even know how to do it right anyway. You got to take your time to understand the female's body. You don't have to take your time, and once you know how to do it, you can just go straight to it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you know it, you go right there. They be like, "Oh, I didn't know you know." Okay, let me shut up. Okay, so uh, I'm all over the place. Yeah, man. Really, let me just for the closeout, let me get rid of this, and then I'll do this real quick. We just throw your boy up. So yeah, man, I really ain't got too much. I don't went through all this for you tonight, man. Main thing, man, is the reason why I came up for tonight was because they were trying to take our contributions. Obviously I just turned it off. They're trying to take the contributions, okay, and the Indian contributions of indigo and Africanize it through FBA talking points. Talking points lead to erasure. Talking points lead to erasure. Let me be like Simon and Dr. Umar. Talking points lead to erasure because the more things happen and the more you allow it to happen, it will lead to talking points leading to erasure. Because when Tariq said things before, his talking points led to erasure. So that goes to show talking points lead to erasure. So if you didn't understand that talking points lead to erasure, nigga, talking points lead to erasure. Okay? Let's just drill that in like they do with they shit. And indigo, right? Indigenous to the Americas. In Peru, over 6,000 years cultivated, utilized in denim dye. And not that we see it just in these books, but also we brought up literal depictions of Indians with blue things on their cloths. Now, we know that not only they make the dye, but I can show you how they were making the cotton mantles, those cloths out of cotton. Uh Amazons, let's say talk about even the Amazons. Right, says Amazons, for there was a strong current, they carried away canoes. They go about naked except for in times of war, festivals, and dances. At those times, they wore mantles of cotton, very fine feathers, and large headdresses. They wore girdles and conchas. They covered their shame and their hay waist or whatever. So now let's look at this. Um, see if I can find cotton mantle. Let me make it bigger. Cotton mantle, blue dye. Wonder how they dyed that cotton. How else do you think they would have gotten it to a blue? And think about it. They got it to a nice even blue too. Now I know this is just a depiction, but I'm pretty sure it was a nice. It had to be because even the ones that we see here, and notice that they go about naked to a degree, except for some cotton mantles sewn over them, and then maybe a little something hiding their shame, kind of what they just said. Similar to that, or like look at the red lines in their shirt. How do you do that? You dye some cotton red, you dye some cotton this gold, you weave the shirts. There's no other way to do it. Right? Where did she get? Look at this. They go about naked, trying to hide their shame, cotton mantles or cotton cloths. Look at the stripes in those cloths. Colors, blue, gold, and red. That's a color that's duplicated many times throughout many of these things that I got that I can show. Excuse me. Look at this one. Look at that blue cloth, white cloth covering her shame with the feathers in the area too. Still kind of
in the nude a bit, but she's got the red cloth over her, right? Right? Got the pearls, pearls in her ears, double pearls around the chest. All right. And riding on top of a cloth. Look at the fringes on that cloth. Primitive, I think not. Right? Primitive, I think not. What about the way they depicted them in this drawing? Like, you know how much easier it is to draw that without all those lines? That tells me they're trying to be accurate a little bit. They're like, no, man, they had nice clothes. They had clothes that had lines and stripes in them, different size stripes patterned around the entire cloth. Yellow, blue, gold, yellow. Didn't I say gold, red, and blue? You're going to see that a lot. This is just a depiction of them coming over, taking over some people at the beach. Now you may think, like, where'd it go? You may be wondering, why are these people dressed like this? You may think this is the normal way they dress, right? As they're getting raided. But do you realize they're at the beach? Ain't that how people dress at the beach? Ain't that how you would dress if you was at the beach? Okay. Not that they just went about naked all the time, right? We showed that cloth earlier, the blue on it and the white. He didn't have to draw that. He didn't have to draw the blue line. Literally would have been easier to leave it out in the painting, but it's there. Same thing. Colors on here, colors of the pants, as we've seen. And there's so many of these. And same thing with that. The pattern right there, gold, blue, red. Okay. Red and blue. I did a whole video about that. We still do red and blue colors, Crips and Bloods. Okay. Then there's this gold shit. But there's also red, white, and blue, as you kind of see up here. It's the colors of our patriotism, our country. But also that amber color coincides to the 3-star constellation, possibly, that we know the truth talks about. I got the constellation somewhere, the photo of it somewhere. But yeah, so when they say we was primitive, all this other stuff, man, whatever. All these people lying. We had the dye. We was dyeing things. We was making cloths. We was doing things. We was Roman like. These people are dressed in togas like Romans. Okay. And then when I was showing y'all earlier where Dapper Dan says I never did finish that point. Dapper Dan says in 1924, 1912, 16 or something, that they was making this building for an Indian museum looking very Roman style with Roman columns, porticos, Greek like stuff, Eskimo Athabaskan and Tishmi. That's what they got up there now. Looks like they done probably replaced. Well, they probably done replaced the original names. But and those used to be windows. Look at that. You could tell those used to be windows. They done stoned up the windows, and it's a different type of stone from that type of stone. But it's an Indian museum, some for whatever reason. And Our Indians are depicted looking like Roman style folks that would be living in this kind of shit. You don't see those natives depicted that way. You do see our people depicted in a similar fashion that would go with this similar architecture. But that's a story for a whole nother day. I started designing tapestries last year to tell the stories of our heritage. That's dope as hell. That's dope as hell, Amore. I would love to see that. It says I had a Liberia chick twice time. It was straight that no screw what. And don't get me wrong. I had I was with a I've said it many times. I was with a South African girl, but she was mixed with her mom was from Bermuda, the Bermuda Island. So she was a Bermuda American Indian mixed with a South African. But I didn't have no problems. South Africans different, definitely. She was cleanly. She was fine. I ain't gonna lie about that. Cause your boy, let me just put it this way: I'm 5'9". She was 5'11", maybe 6 foot. She was bigger than me, taller than me, thicker than me. Your boy was in that thing, okay? In all of it. Not just playing. Just I had to do this for my ancestors to a degree. I know they probably weren't looking down on me too well. Sam, you know that's a South African. I'm sorry. There's a little Indian in there somewhere, okay? I'm trying to connect back to the Indian within her. Okay? That's all I was trying to do. I was just trying to. All right. I'm done with that. I'm sorry. So I'm not opposed to anybody, and there was also I was kind of I was just learning, getting into my Indian shit, and she was cool with it at the time. I wasn't on TikTok. I was I did a couple of YouTube things, and I was really studying, and I was telling her a whole lot of shit. She understood. She actually she's she's from she went to schools in London, and she was a model out in London, and she told me that there's a lot of architecture and a lot of in the museum. She said there's a lot of so-called black people in the museum. She was like, you got to get out there. I don't know how to explain it all, I don't know all that history, She was like, but there's a lot of black people in the museum, and you got to think about it. Of course, of course, it should be. That's where we dominated, but it's not a lot of them here in ours. And you got to think about that. It's funny how it's not a lot of us in museum unless we're depicted as slaves here in the whole Americas, knowing we've been here. But over in Europe, there's still remnants. So many remnants of us that was ruling at the time, or melanated folks. Some of us, whatever. But melanated folks ruling at the time, that some girl that I'm just randomly dating from that area can tell you that, yeah, I've seen them. Really? Because a nigga like me would have thought it would have been an anomaly. You got to go kind of searching through the bag way. Like in ours, you can find shit like the emblem of America and shit. Because Tasha Z, she found that. She did a video of that and other ones. You can find it. You just gonna have to get some permission, dig, know that you got to go to these places and all these other things. It ain't just gonna be out there ready for you. But you can find it. Okay. So it just goes to show the erasure. That's what this whole thing has been about. This whole broadcast today has been about the erasure and stopping the erasure. Stopping talking points. Erasure.
In the yard.
For whatever reason, my stream ended on my y'all still there, TikTok? TikTok look like it's still there. Y'all there still throw a one in the chat if y'all still there. So they fucking with you. Yeah, right. Y'all notice it. I don't know if y'all could y'all see that the stream ended. Appreciate that, y'all. Yeah, why the hell did my stream end over there? Oh no, it didn't stream. It didn't end. It didn't end. It just randomly just kind of moved my shit. I thought it ended, but I see it still going. That was weird.
Oh, you know what might have happened? It took down my iPad screen for whatever. Actually, it's not letting me keep it up right now. Okay, now it's keeping it up. Weird. Weird. Some said the external display just came on. What up? Technology, nigga. Tech fucking knowledge. All right, all right. Anyway, I'm about to get off here, man. Give y'all a second to say if y'all got any questions for me, you're more than welcome to say whatever before I get off here as I come down to a close. But that's basically, what I wanted to get out is these things lead to erasure, man, and these lies lead to erasure. And I'm not gonna stand here for it. I'm gonna make content to combat it. I wish I had the junction to really just like go hard every day about one particular topic to try to prove a point. But I can't do that. I'm like one of the people. I got to do something different all the time. So man, I just got to put out my content and hope. I'll just put it out a couple times. Maybe I'll make some clips that can go around or something to try to get the word out even more so to let people know more. It was the American Indians that brought the indigo out here with that denim shit, not any FBA, not some slavery, not some Africans, none of that shit. He said this that was a test run for this year. I understand that, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get off here. Y'all appreciate y'all like always, man. Much love to the folks and enjoy your night.